954.
Good morning, everyone. We are going live in just about a minute and a half.
954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and
It's already Monday, people.
This is your special invitation to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free Living Trust seminar. Be sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators,
coffee was good there.
Spouses,
got my
lawsuits,
Starbucks. Hey, guys.
Government agencies, and the IRS. This free Living Trust seminar is Tuesday, January 28th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Courtyard by Marriott.
Hey, Gary.
Boca. To attend this free event,
Got about a minute left. We'll be on the air.
FLA Estate, 855-352-3782.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
The Steve KANE Show is live.
Here we
morning
go.
Drive, 6 till 9 a.m. weekdays, and overnights midnight till 6 a.m. 7 nights a week. To call the show toll free.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve KANE Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right. This is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida. No doubt about that. Oh, man. This is also the most pro-Donald Trump broadcast anywhere in America, if not the world. The only people that love Donald Trump more than I do are his family. And maybe I might even be able to rival some of that. I'm a huge Trump supporter, if you're new to the program. Oh, man, so much going on, so much to talk about as the mainstream media and the Democrats become PR operations for Iran. We're going to talk a lot about what's going on. Oh, and I know this is the first, it's Monday, January 6th, 2020. The world, at least here in America, is back to normal. Today, no more holidays for a while, all right? Today is the day that everybody's back to work, everybody's back to school, and it's 5 days of work in a row. Oh, man, unless you're a liberal and you're just sitting around waiting for the automatic deposit into your bank account and the EBT and all that business. But for those of us on the Trump train, it's a 5-day work week, and that's a light week. People on the Trump train work 6 or even 7 days a week. Yes, yes, yes. So much to talk about. Your calls about the weekend events with Iran and everything involved are welcome at 1-888-GO, KANE 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call from anywhere. You know, President Trump has done something that is, it's never been done before. Never been done before. You gotta love this. This president is just amazing. 14 hours ago, President Trump sent out a tweet which today will be turning the world upside down. Congress is back today. Congress and the mainstream media are going to have meltdowns. They're already having meltdowns, even though this happened late in the day yesterday. But President Trump's most recent tweet, which was 14 hours ago, as I'm speaking to you right now, is one that is going to just have the Trump derangement syndrome really go into almost like seizure-like effect throughout the Democrats in the House of Representatives and the mainstream media. And this is the one. President Trump tweeted this: "These media posts will serve as notification to the United States Congress that should Iran strike any U.S. person or target, the United States will quickly and fully strike back, and perhaps in a disproportionate manner. Such legal notice is not required, but is given nevertheless." So now the president will be notifying Congress through his Twitter feed when attacks take place against Iran. Oh my goodness. You know, this is what social media is supposed to be all about, right? Immediate, quick connections. And, you know, President Trump didn't notify Congress for a whole bunch of reasons. One, and the most important one, is he doesn't trust them not to leak it to their friends and it leaking to the enemy before such a strike would happen. I mean, that's the first reason. I mean, that's the main one. There are other reasons too, but that's the main one, right? He doesn't trust them. And should he trust them? They were spying on him, this guy. Well, how can he trust these people when they're doing what it is that they're doing? The House of Representatives is now a part of the coup that began from the moment he won the election and was president-elect of the United States. Before that, it was just an illegal spy operation on a presidential nominee for a major party, but the moment he won the election that night in 2016, it became a coup, and they're a party to it through their sham impeachment. But notifying people through Twitter, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, man, social media. Takes social media to an all-new level. It really does. And, this is the future. The first time I heard of social media being used so directly, as odd as this may sound, is Howard Stern. I know, I'm a big fan of Howard Stern. I have a huge respect for Howard Stern. I know a lot of conservatives don't. I love Howard Stern. I know he doesn't like Trump, but that's okay. I have respect for him as a broadcaster. He's tops, man. I mean, no question about that. And what he does is amazing. And in the early days of Twitter, Howard Stern was at home watching his movie on television, Private Parts. And he started tweeting about the movie as he was watching it. And it was almost like, the commentary you get on the DVDs. You ever watch the commentary? I don't have any DVDs or Blu-rays anymore, but I gave that up long ago. But, like director and actor commentary on a DVD or a Blu-ray disc, he was doing that on Twitter, and it had never been done before, Howard Stern, when he was doing that, watching Private Parts. It made national news, and even Twitter released statements that this is what Twitter is all about, this direct connection like this, and that's what President Trump is doing. During the campaign, I was watching the analysis with David Axelrod and Van Jones about President Trump. This was during the 2016 campaign on CNN. And, Van Jones is everything they say he is. But when he gives political commentary, he's pretty good. Not commentary, I should say analysis. When Van Jones is giving analysis, he's pretty spot on. I'm not saying I always agree with the guy, and he's way out there on the fringes of the left. Although he doesn't seem so liberal compared to AOC and the rest. But Van Jones was talking about Trump on Twitter, and this was during the campaign. And he said President Trump is with Twitter what President Kennedy was with television. And he said President Kennedy's success was that he understood what no other politician understood in 1960, and that was how to use television to his campaign's advantage. And he said, the Nixon-Kennedy debate, etc. And as President Kennedy was to television, President Trump is the first presidential candidate to understand how to use Twitter for his campaign benefit. They didn't really like hearing that on CNN, but I gained a little respect there for Van Jones because he was so spot on with that. And with President Trump notifying Congress through Twitter, that's spectacular. Why? If you're sitting in Congress, I don't care what your position is in Congress, House, Senate, majority, minority, when there's a military action like the one that happened last week or some future action that may arise if there's an Iranian response, what benefit other than the benefit of massaging your ego is having someone come and brief you? Twitter is sufficient, and there's no problem with that. In fact, if you're concerned about not putting American lives at risk during military operations, you would prefer Twitter because there's no chance of things leaking out, because by the time the president tweets that an action has happened, it's over, and the people that carried out the attack, they're back in a safe zone somewhere. So, I really think it's amazing that President Trump has announced that he is going to notify Congress through Twitter. I know they're not going to like it. They don't like anything he does, okay? It doesn't matter what he does. Even if he sent an envoy, they wouldn't like it. Well, our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's K-A-N-E and the number 1, 888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. It is Monday, the first full week back from the new year, and we're talking about all the events that have been going on. The media and the Democrats want, even though they'll tell you they don't, they want a war with Iran. And the Democrats want military action against Iran because they're already laying this out. They're calling President Trump a war criminal. They think that if he starts a conflict with Iran, which I promise you he does not want to do, he's an anti-war guy, Donald Trump, always has been all the way back to the war in Vietnam. But President Trump, they want to add military actions without congressional notification to the articles of impeachment. And they are very, oh, we are not connected. Oh, let's see here. Uh-oh. Oh, we are having technical issues. Okay, we're going to have to take a break and see what's going on. Hold on, I got to call the radio station. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Please. About us being attacked first. Or an ally. That was one of the few times that the United States has done that. It was kind of like it was a preemptive. But a big technical snafu, which I'll explain in a minute. One of the things that made it so controversial, unlike September 11th, the Taliban backed Saddam Hussein. Oh my goodness. That response was not as invasive, but moving into Iraq. Here we go.
Advisors 954-753-8080, and she will review your auto insurance policy at no charge. 954-753-8080. No matter what your situation is.
I'll tell you what happened.
No tickets, accidents, no accidents on your record. You may be paying too much. Call Debbie right now.
I'll be right back.
954-753-8080 and stop paying too much for auto insurance. 954-753-8080.
If you suffer from excruciating back pain or sciatica, pay careful attention to what I'm about to tell you. According to a study in the medical journal Spine, back surgeries to alleviate back pain frequently backfire, leaving the patient in more pain than before they had the surgery. A second study from the University of Cincinnati College of Medicine provides clear evidence that 74% of surgeries for back pain fail. But there is an end to your suffering. There's a solution to your problem waiting for you with Dr. Troy Lemaski. Dr. Troy Lemaski is my personal chiropractor, and if the name sounds familiar, it should. He's the brother of Dr. Janae Lemaski. Dr. Troy specializes
I'll tell you guys
in
what
the
happened.
elimination of back pain, sciatica, joint pain. He does it quickly, easily, and without surgery or pain medication. While he can help you with your back and neck pain, Dr. Troy also provides treatment for the hips, the shoulders, the knees. If you've been in a car accident, any type of injury, or
We had a technical snafu.
won't go away, well, if you want to get back to your old self, you want to call Dr. Troy. His number 954-463-3036. That's 954-463-3036. Online
Oh, yeah,
at
thank you.
drtroylemaski.com. Tell him that Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just
Oh, boy. All right, welcome everyone. If you're listening on the radio, we're just joining you live now. And this has happened before. You know, we're not at the radio station. We have our own remote studio that's about, I don't know, about a 30-minute drive from the radio station. And I connect each and every day to the radio station and start. And today, I connected up to the radio station, but not to the radio station that carries our broadcast. I connected to the production room. Can you believe this? Which is locked and there's no one in it. And I went on the air and I did the entire first segment without being on the radio. Now, of course, I was live streaming it on YouTube Live. So if you follow me on YouTube, Brian Craig on YouTube, you caught it. But that was not on the air. I was talking to just the YouTubers, and I thought I was on the air. And luckily, Rich Allen, our producer up there, he sent me a text message. What's going on? You know, and there's been times when I've done an entire hour. Once I went as 90 minutes, which is half of the show, without being connected to the radio station, and I didn't know it because I was on a rant and I wasn't taking calls or anything. It happens, but at least I was streaming on the YouTube live feed. So if you are just tuning in, we're here live. It is Monday, the first full week back on, well, to work for everyone. And I'm not going to go through everything I talked about in the first segment, but I had some brilliant commentary. In fact, probably the most brilliant commentary I've had ever in my entire broadcast career. So go and watch that first segment on YouTube Live. Brian Craig on YouTube. Oh, my goodness. How embarrassing. Well, it happens. What can you do? What can you do? So, back to what I was talking about when I wasn't on the radio and just to the YouTube audience. At least, thank the Lord I have the live stream. The time I went 90 minutes. That was before we were live streaming. So I was just in this room by myself ranting and raving for 90 minutes. No one heard but me. And the phones were ringing. I wasn't answering them because I was on a rant. But what I was talking about in the segment that didn't broadcast is President Trump tweeted that his tweets will serve as notification to the Congress about further military action. And, what President Trump has been tweeting about this weekend is pretty scary. Are any of you scared? Are any of you not frightened? I am. And I think you should be too about this possible escalation of what's going on between the United States and Iran. And President Trump had a tweet over the weekend that scared me. I just hope that the Iranians take it as a serious comment, and they're worried as well. And there was a series of tweets, and I'm just going to read you one. This is the president a day ago. And this one here, he's talking about if there is a response from Iran, okay? And some say there already has been. It hasn't been confirmed yet. We'll talk about that as the show goes on. But the president is tweeting about if there is a military response from Iran or some terrorist act or any type of response with loss of life, he tweeted this, that we have targeted 52 Iranian sites representing the 52 American hostages taken by Iran many years ago, some at a very high level and important to Iran and the Iranian culture. And those targets and Iran itself will be hit very fast and very hard. And will be hit very fast and very hard. Every letter of those words is capitalized, which means emphasis, and he's yelling, the USA wants no more threats. Let this serve as a warning that if Iran strikes any Americans or American assets, I know we have these sites. I mean, so this is scary to me. This is scary to me. And you know what? It should be scary to everyone. Let's just hope it's scary to Iran. Over the weekend, Sunday morning, I was watching Fox and Friends early in the morning. And Pete, is it named Hegswick or Hedsworth? I like Pete on Fox. Please don't misunderstand me. I like Pete on Fox. He's very good. He's a veteran. I like his commentary and things, and I'm a fan of his. But when I turned him on yesterday, I felt as almost it was a cheerleading session justifying war with Iran. And I made a mistake that a lot of people made, and that was believing George W. Bush about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And I was for the war in Iraq, and I'm sorry that I was. It was wrong. We were lied to. We were lied to. British intelligence, the Bush administration, we were lied to because they wanted to go to war with Iraq. And I was talking about this on Friday. As we're in the year 2020, we are 18 years into the war in Iraq. 17 years later, we're still fighting in Iraq. Imagine that. It's insanity. All right? And I've become a very anti-war person because of that. And when it comes to Iran, I trust in President Trump. And I think most Trump supporters do. I trust in President Trump. I trust that he knows what he is doing. He's an anti-war person. But what President Trump is talking about with these 52 sites, the left are already calling him a war criminal because he mentioned cultural, and he's, those are military, it's cultural. what President Trump is talking about doing is hitting Iran with a blow so massive that Iran, as a country, will no longer be a functioning country, at least not militarily. That the war would be over with one massive blow. And that all sounds fine and dandy in theory. But what I heard Pete talking about on Fox and Friends, I always forget his name, I'd forgotten his last name. Very good. I like him a lot. He was talking about whether or not, is Iran a country or a movement? You know, and I would say that Iran is more of a movement than it is a country. And if we take out Iran with these 52 sites that President Trump talked about on Twitter, while Iran may not be a functioning country after that, okay, what would we have then? Would we have a movement that will last God knows how long of this Iranian cause becoming the motivation for more terrorism for decades to come? And the answer to that is probably yes. So, you know, there's such a catch-22 to this whole situation. There really, truly is. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE 1, 888-465-2631. And you radio listeners out there and online listeners on all our streaming services and everything, that first segment of the show, I'm telling you, was pretty spectacular. So go to YouTube later after the show today. Catch the first segment of the show. Brian Craig on the YouTube. All right, let's take some calls. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, Richie.
You and Tucker Carlson are getting me crazy already. I'm gonna say something to you, okay? People like you. Don't get offended. People like you are the reason why the situation is in this world today the way it is, and it wasn't back in World War II. Because let me tell you something: when Hitler was a movement, the Nazis were a movement, and we decided we're going to take them out. We didn't care about collateral damage. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
An American young person, afraid of war and everything else. When you get hit like you get a country like the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
You care that the Nazis were a movement? They were a movement. We took out Hitler. We took out Germany, and we took out Japan. And the fact of the matter is, the only way you're going to take these bastards out is attack them. I'm sorry to say it. These people that we don't want war, we don't want war. Nobody wants war. And I was in Vietnam, and the reason we went Vietnam all those years was the engagement. And once again, we could have kicked their behinds.
Well, no, now you slid. Oh, by the way, Richie, I don't know if I've ever asked you this before. During your time in Vietnam, did you ever happen to run into John Kerry, who was in Vietnam 3 months longer than I was? No, I didn't think so. You know, can you imagine? He was in Vietnam 3 months longer than I was, and he's making a whole career out of it. But, you know, Richie, yeah, what President Trump is talking about, you're right. You know, the war in Vietnam was lost because of these ridiculous rules of engagement, and it wasn't fought properly. Yeah, you're right. And what President Trump is talking about would be a blow with these 52 targets representing our hostages from the 79 embassy takeover. It would be a blow that would stop Iran from being a functioning government. There's no doubt about it, and that's a good thing. But after that, you know, what happens? What happens to this radical ideology behind Iran that will it give us more terrorism to last forever, or is taking Iran out with these 52? You know, Iran is funding over 90% of the terror operations around the world, and they have been in my entire life. So is cutting the head of the snake off going to stop these terrorist organizations like Hezbollah and others from being functioning because they're not going to have the funding any longer?
I think that it's like the Nazis. They scattered to Argentina. They scattered all over Europe, but they scattered. And I understand, but you're going to have these radical Muslims for eternity because they're still at war with Christians and Jews.
Yeah.
And the fact is, since 1940, I don't want to go through the history of Israel. They have been going at it since then. But you want to know something? If you sit back and they've been picking us off like rats, it's sort of like the English. We back in the Revolutionary War, they were just being picked off by. They were in formation. Listen, we have to take them out. It's enough already. And if you wait too long, they're going to be very close allies with China, and they're going to be and what's happening now? They already talked that they're going to start going after the war.
Well, you know what? And not only that, a lot of the problems we have with North Korea with their rocket technology is Iran as well. Yeah.
What they're going to do with this now? What are we going to do? We're going to let them.
But Richie, you know what? When it comes to these Middle East conflicts, we were told Iraq was going to be a year, 6 months, same thing. Here we are in Afghanistan, 19 years later, coming up on 19 years.
Because we did not level the country.
Yeah.
On you right now, the only way to win, if you're going to go into war, you got to win them.
Well, I'll tell you when the war in Afghanistan was lost, and it was lost by George W. Bush. This was during the early days of the war in Afghanistan, when the war was pretty hot. A top Taliban leader was killed, and there was a funeral for him. And the New York Post and every other media outlet, there was it was either a satellite or a drone overhead of the funeral, and all of the Taliban leaders attended this funeral. And George W. Bush, didn't take out all the Taliban leaders at that funeral. This was in the early months of the war because of politics and political correctness. And when I saw that, I knew the war was lost. And here we are, 18 years later, and it's still going on, the Taliban. No president since World War II, since Truman, has had the guts to give a devastating blow to our opponents and end a war. That's right.
Say this to you. They try to neuter Nixon. I learned that last night with the Congress saying you have to come to Wars Power Act.
Yeah.
They didn't have that under Roosevelt. The fact is they try to neuter the President of the United States, and they hate this president so much that they don't trust him whatsoever. And you want to know the truth? He's the only one with any kind of brain. When a bully's on you, you got to do something with the bully.
Well, the big question is today: does Iran take this as a serious threat? I mean, Iran, we do these little tit for tat strikes since 1979. Nothing's ever done. And do they really believe that we will give a devastating response to them like the president is talking about, far out of proportion to whatever they may do?
Well, in World War II, we had Americans. Like I said, it gets me crazy when I hear you saying you're against war. Who is for war? Not even one soldier over there is for war.
Well, I think the media are for war with Iran. I think they want it. I think the Democrats want it. I think they want, because they can undermine Trump with it, they think.
When you're in a war, you want to win a war. You want to get in, get out, and with as least amount of casualties as possible. But the fact of the matter is that they're restricted over the. Listen, you need to carpet bomb a country, and I'm sorry to say, civilians are going to go down to. And you just got to make a statement that this crap will not be tolerated. If we did the same thing with Hitler, Hitler would have won this thing.
Absolutely.
And the fact of the matter is, this is Hitler, and Hitler took over Europe.
That's right.
Did we say, well, we don't care because we're in the United States?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The same thing with the Middle East. We can't let this. We can't tolerate.
So, what would be your guess? Do you think that President Trump is going to be forced by Iran to go through with his threat of the 52 targets in Iran?
No, I don't think so, because
really?
I think that they're going to try to hit us with as minimum, because they know there'll be a total regime overhaul. We'll go in there and we'll take out the whole place. And I think they don't want that. They want to keep their power.
Yeah.
Be like rats. They're going to be giving the money to other organizations, and they're going to be hitting them. They'll be hitting us in this country. They'll try to turn the press and everybody totally against this president, and that's why he's got to hit them heavy.
All right, Richie, I got to run for a break, but thanks for the call. All right, take care. It's 6:33 in the morning. I'm Brian Craig. We are here live. It's Monday morning, people, the 6th of January, 2020, the first full work week back for most everyone, including myself. So welcome. If you're on hold, stand by. We have one opening on the board at 1-888-GO-KANE1. That's Kane with a K, K-A-N-E, and the number 1. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Sponsor? Go to the sponsor page at SteveKaneShow.com.
Hey guys, are you losing your hair? Stop hair loss in its tracks and call Dr. Mitch Matez for a free consultation. Talk to him about hormone replacement therapy. Hormone replacement therapy will stop hair loss in its tracks, and the hair you have left will grow in thicker and fuller. Stop your hair loss and call Dr. Matez. 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. Online at hormonetherapy.bocaraton.com.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities. I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call
This
Brighton
weather.
Dental today at 954
How's my sinus is all messed up.
922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
This is your special invitation to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free Living Trust seminar. Be sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. This free Living Trust seminar is Tuesday, January 28th, from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Courtyard by Marriott in Boca. To attend this free event, call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE, 855-352-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search WWN.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Rough start to the show this morning. I tell you, this weather we're having here in Florida, it's in the 50s, which is some of the coldest weather we get here in sunny South Florida. My sinuses are all messed up, so bear with me. All right, so the president has laid it out to Iran with the 52 sites. He will notify Congress through his Twitter feed. Oh, my gosh. I mean, this is just Trump derangement syndrome has never been at such a level. And Lindsey Graham has put Nancy Pelosi on notice that she better transmit the articles of impeachment this week, or they're going to make some moves and take over in the Senate. And they ain't going to like it over there in the House. So this is today Congress is back. So this is we're at a whole new level now. Whole new level. All right, let's go to the phones. Is this Stephen Royal Palm?
It is.
Great. Hey.
Morning.
Hey.
Another happy New Year. Anyway, here's a thought, Brian. You know, when the Iraqis, Iranians, whoever the heck they were, when they attacked our embassy, I'm wondering, was their intent to take over the embassy and hold the the embassy people hostages like they did back in the 90s, have some leverage against Trump?
No, I don't think so. They weren't armed, right? So, what they were doing is they figured, I mean, what are they to think? They've been harassing the United States for 40 years. We've never responded. So it was just some, PR thing for their people. Look at what we can do. And it's very interesting now that Iraq is telling us to leave Iraq. It looks like Iraq was about to become a satellite state of Iran. So President Trump has acted a pretty good time to stop Iran from having complete control over Iraq. You hear these Iraqi leaders now.
Well, understand this. Iraq is still broken up with Sunnis, Shias, and Kurdistan individuals. So I don't think all the Iraqis are on board with United States getting out. Because who's going to protect? I think who? The Shias or the Iranians? I'm
so confused, yeah. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Are they Baptist or Methodist? If you're talking in this country about Christians, do people ever say, well, what is Pat Robertson? Is he a Baptist? Is he a Methodist? Is he Presbyterian? Does you know what I'm talking about? Not that I'm comparing him to the Ayatollahs. Don't misunderstand me. But when you get into these sects and denominations, I think it's, what do they say on TV? You're in the weeds. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if you look, you're talking about the people that are the Americans that are anti-U.S. If you look at history, prior to World War II, the American Nazi Party in the United States was huge.
Yeah.
And, it took World War II for them to shut up, and I don't know how many of them were beaten up or thrown out of the country. But you have, similar to that here now, not to that degree, but you have all these anti-American Americans that are, willing to say, oh, poor Iranian solar, man, why?
Yeah.
And at what point are they going to be shut down, especially the Hollywood elite? It amazes me how these people are so anti-American in America, and nobody really calls them out on it.
Yeah, and what the left will tell you, the highest form of patriotism is to be anti-American. The ones that are most American are the ones that are anti-American. They'll tell you that.
Yeah, go do that in Iran.
I don't understand, when I was younger and I would hear conservatives talk about the American hating left, I always thought that was rhetoric, but it's true. It's true. I mean, if I cared to bother, I would have 20 clips from the Golden Globes last night. I do have one clip, but I'm not going to go through and bore. Who cares what Hollywood thinks, right? But I got one clip that's just a sick one that I'm going to share. But I don't know why they hate this country, the left. I really have never understood it.
I think it's just pure ignorance.
Brainwashing.
Yeah, exactly. They have been brainwashed by a liberal, communist bent.
Well, it starts, you know what it starts with? It starts with the perspective of things. What the left, and it's moved on to other things, but it started with slavery. And to the left, we're the country that had slaves. While that may be technically accurate, we didn't bring slavery here. The Europeans did. We ended slavery. We had a civil war to end slavery. But the left see it as we were a country that had slaves as opposed to a country that ended slavery in a war that cost 500,000 American lives, the Civil War. They see American history as a long list of negatives. They don't see any positives with the history of the country, the Indians and all of these different things. So everything to them is in a negative.
They have this PB 45 meetings every month up here in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Hilton Hotel now. And when I go there, I revel in the camaraderie of my fellow Americans and even a lot of non-Americans that show up. And their demonstrable love, country for this president, it's infectious. Where on the left is there anything like that? I mean, Antifa. Antifa's probably like a social gathering.
Well, I think that there was a lot of that with Obama. There was a lot of that mesmerized attitude towards Obama, first black president and everything, which is understandable.
Where is that now? Where is that?
Oh no, they'd have nothing. They have nothing. They have nothing. I mean, the Democrats are trying behind their hatred of Trump with this sham impeachment to try to unify behind a cause, but they have nothing now.
Well, our Congress is busy bemoaning the fact that they weren't let in on the secret that we're going to go kill Solomon.
Yeah.
But don't they realize Trump is like shut the door on him and put him out the pasture?
Well, listen, he didn't he didn't inform them because he was afraid it would leak out. I mean, do you trust Adam Schiff to not tell somebody? He's always leaking information.
But the whole thing is, Trump is telling them, I have nothing to do with you clowns anymore.
That's right.
And they're just running around going, impeach, and he's busy running the rest of the country, and they're all standing around with their thumbs where, you know where their thumbs are, and they're busy going...
Well, listen, what Trump did is absolutely amazing, and I support Trump. I'm nervous and worried about future conflict. I think people should be. It'd be foolish not to be concerned. But 9/11 happened because Bill Clinton had at least two opportunities to take out Osama bin Laden, and he wouldn't do it. One, bin Laden was in a motorcade. We knew where he was, and we had the ability to take out the motorcade with rockets. And he got legal advice from Janet Reno, the Attorney General, who said that we don't assassinate foreign leaders, that it's against the law, and he didn't do it. And look what happened, September 11th. So...
You have all these Democrats running for the highest office of this country. And every time when they're on stage, I dare you to see an American flag. I dare you.
Well, look at what they're doing now. This other thing, Democrats, you know, and the media have really made a serious mistake jumping on this anti-Trump bandwagon so quick after this taking out of this terrorist leader. You know, the Pence said over the weekend that he had a role in 9/11, and without even looking into it, the left are immediately attacking. Pence is the vice president of the United States, who is privy to the most classified briefings now. And it's coming out that Iran helped the hijackers move around, help them with their transportation needs. So now we're getting into what Iran's direct role was in the September 11th terrorist attack that monster had a part in. You know, the left with their Trump derangement syndrome have really jumped the shark on this one.
Well, the only thing I could say is with the amount of money we're finding out that whether it's the Ukrainians or whoever, the Chinese are bribing, bribing our politicians to lean to their thought process and not to the American thought process.
Hey, Katina.
I wonder what the lefts are going to realize, when they're going to realize that they've been sold out.
That's right.
They've been sold out for Chinese money, Canadian money, for whoever's money.
That's right.
Are listening to these politicians who could care less about their own country, care about how much money goes in either their wallet or their kid's wallet or whatever. I mean, when are they going to wake up?
No.
Can they be?
They can't see. Well, first off, you got a lot of Iranian lovers in the left too, you know. Yeah, and I remember it was being reported last year that John Kerry and other former officials with the Obama administration were in contact with Iran. Remember this? And have you heard anything from John Kerry during this last few days since this conflict I haven't heard any reference to John Kerry. Where in the world is John Kerry? You think he'd be all
the bank vault counting all the money that kids either gave him or his kids, and he's wondering how fast can I get?
Well, you know, let me ask this to you because I'd ask this to Richie. We know that Iran is funding over 90% of the Islamic terrorism around the world. There's no doubt about that, right? If President Trump does what he says he'll do on Twitter with these 52 strikes, and Iran is no longer a functioning government and a functioning country, with the funding, that means the funding will dry up. Like when the Soviet Union collapsed, Cuba and other places that were being propped up by Soviet money collapsed. Will that cause a collapse of terrorism around the world when the Iranian money is not coming in anymore, like what happened in Cuba with the Soviets, or will it give us more terrorism? Which do you...
The money fuels the engine.
You can't do it without money.
Yeah. In fact, go back to history again. When the spies landed on Long Island, the German spies landed on Long Island, they had some money. They buried the money, which was later found by FBI or whoever. They were running around New York broke.
Yeah.
One guy says, hey, I can't afford to eat. He gave himself up.
That's right.
He wound up catching all.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think without the Iranian money, a huge percentage, and you know what, President Trump, everything's about money. You know, you can't fund it. And I know they say, well, these are inexpensive, these organizations. Well, inexpensive to them might be $3 million, $250,000 when they're doing analysis. But if you don't have that cash coming in from Iran, how are you going to do it? And I agree with you. I think that without Iran in the picture to fund terrorism, a huge chunk of it within 1 or 2 years will just evaporate because they need money.
Trump has his list of 52 sites.
Oh, my goodness.
That money, the main sites he's got, other than the Ayatollah's head, are the refineries. You take out the Iranian refineries, they got no more money. You want to see internal unrest when the Iranians start to starve to death?
Well, I would imagine that Iran, the government, is almost a cash economy at this point. That the refineries, that's like daily cash coming in, you know, because they get it as it's produced, because I don't think they want to put a lot of money in their bank, especially now they're afraid it'll be seized. So, you know, there's a lot of cash money going on here, and you're right, you shut that down. But I think he's talking about more than refineries. I think he's talking about whatever they have militarily so far as an Air Force or anything like that. 52 is a lot. And boy, you know, the symbolism of the 52 American hostages. I mean, that's unbelievable. All right, Steve, I got to run for our last break of the hour, but thanks for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break. 1-888-GO-KANE1 is our number. Toll-free call. 1-888-465-2631. Don't go anywhere.
Well, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of My Pillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented My Pillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. My Pillow will get you into that deep sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry My Pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever.
For a limited time, go to mypillow.com, and Mike will give you 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price. And you will also receive free shipping when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, or call 1-800-716-4879 and give them promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. And receive 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price. Again, use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com or 1-800-716-4879 for this fantastic offer.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy
I'm
Friendly
typing
Mike
on my
at Friendly Tire.
could you hear me type?
And he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445.
Yeah, maybe.
954-977-9445.
I'm answering some emails.
Online,
and DMs.
friendlytire.net.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Sole Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, welcome back, everyone. It is Monday. We are back here live, the 6th of January, 2020. I still can't get used to saying 2020. Is everyone saying we're in the roaring 20s now? Welcome back. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name's Brian Craig, and, you know, a lot of what you hear us talk about with our sponsors is how to save you money. And I got an incredible way for you homeowners out there or property owners of commercial property to save money. It's a secret that I've been sharing on the radio for a while, a secret I discovered many years ago. And I'm so happy that we can share this opportunity with you, and it's with your homeowner's insurance policy. You know, each and every year, your homeowner's insurance goes up and up and up. And most people have their homeowner's insurance, if they have a mortgage, connected to their mortgage payment. And because it's connected to their mortgage payment, it's something you pay for that's almost kind of hidden. You know it's there, but you don't notice. And, you know, with most mortgage payments, over the years, the mortgage payment goes down because you're paying off principal over the years. But most of your mortgage payments stay about the same every year because that homeowner's insurance goes up, and it's so you don't quite notice it. And I review my homeowner's insurance policy each and every year, and you should too. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors. and have her review your homeowner's insurance policy. I was just over at Debbie's office on Friday with Steve. It's the beginning of the year, and he has them, he did it last year, he's doing it again this year. He has them reviewing his homeowner's insurance policy. And she will save you money. And you know what? It costs you nothing. Nothing. Call Debbie, have her review your homeowner's insurance policy. If your homeowner's insurance is connected to your mortgage payment, and you reduce your homeowner's policy, you've just reduced your mortgage payment. And you commercial property owners, same goes for you. They don't call it homeowner's insurance. They call it property and casualty, I think, with the commercial property. Give Debbie at I Will Advisors a call. Debbie will come to you. She'll come to your home, your place of business, or at a coffee shop. She'll be happy to do that. If you're inside the state of Florida, Debbie can help you, okay? Her number, 954-753-8080. And you can call right now and leave a message. If you're an overnight listener, call in the middle of the night and leave a message. Debbie and her team will call you back. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have her review your homeowner's insurance policy at no charge. All right, let's go to Mike in Louisiana. Hey, Mike, good morning.
How you doing, Brian?
Good.
So before we get to the Iranian deal, the thing with Twitter and the president and him doing this, remember when all this stuff started about the social media companies cutting down on people's reach and stuff, and cutting off some of their people, some followers and stuff. What did President Trump do? One of the first things he did was call in Twitter and read them the riot act, because that's how he does his business a lot of times, is over Twitter.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. So, and look, people don't like him when he tweets, but that's how he gets. Like President Reagan got over the heads of the media. He talked to the people. This is how this is a high-tech way of.
Well, listen. President Kennedy was really the first president to start communicating through people with televised press conferences. They were new with Kennedy and became a big thing and a tradition because television was the new technology where most people were. Now that's not the case. Most people are online now, and they get information mostly on their cell phones in their palm of their hand. And the president communicates with more of the American people directly through the internet, through social media, than he ever would on television.
Yeah. Now, as far as the money issue with Iran, think about this. We know that Iran has been funding a lot of these terrorist organizations. Like Hezbollah, what does Hezbollah like to do at times? They like to throw missiles into Israel, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And those missiles, they're not the Sidewinders or the Hellfire missiles that are going to cost you a ton of money to build, but they're still costing people a ton of money. They're still costing Iran a ton of money to build, So it's like you get rid of the money that they're spending on those missiles, then it's less likely that, it's less likely they're going to...
Well, this was a huge wake-up call for Iran because... here you got this general who's big terror leader, and he was responsible for this attack on our embassy. And where is he at? He's a couple miles away, walking around Baghdad like he owns the joint. He walking around Baghdad like Saddam Hussein is when he was in power. I mean, the nerve of this guy, the arrogance, and really fearless that the United States would have any meaningful response whatsoever, because we haven't in the 40 years that we've been dealing with them.
Oh, sure. And look, they've already, reports have it that they've already named his potential replacement. Now, if I'm that guy, those guys that are on the list, I wouldn't want my name named. Because...
No, I wouldn't want that job either. I mean, look what happened when we took out the head of ISIS. Look what happened to the guy who replaced him. He was there about 12 hours, and Trump got him too.
Yeah, that's the thing. These guys, now granted, he made money off of the mullahs and stuff, and the mullahs need to go. The mullahs need to go because they're the impetus behind all these so-called things that are happening.
Well, what we're going to find out, Mike, in Iran is this. We see these student movements, and we're told that the majority population don't support the government. And, you know, we're going to, if Trump has to go through with his warning to Iran with the 52 targets and the Iranian government collapses, if what we've been told about the majority of the population not supporting the government with the protest and all of that, remember all the protests like that started back in 2009 and everything, we're going to find out if that's true because they'll be out there rising up and taking over real quick.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, the reason why some of these guys aren't doing it right now is because they fear the government. You know, they fear them coming in and either putting them in jail or just flat out killing them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, all right, Mike, appreciate the call. Great comments. And have a great week, man. We'll talk to you next time. Oh, man. Yeah, we're coming up on the top of the hour break. My name is Brian Craig. It is Monday, the first full 5-day work week from our holiday period. The holidays are now over. And after the top of the hour break, I'll do a little recapping. Congress is back today. So we'll do some recapping. I've got some audio sound bites that I want to get into. And, of course, Steve KANE will be joining us, of course. It is the Steve KANE Show, after all, so Steve will be joining us. And your phone calls are welcome at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. It is a toll-free call. 888-465-20... I just forgot the number. 888-465-2361. Oh, my goodness, I forgot. Well, I have so many numbers to remember. I almost gave out my personal number there for a second. Oh, that would be fun, especially since I just got a new number. I got a new number recently, and I was listening to the overnight rebroadcast on the way in from Friday's show with Liberal Al the John, and Liberal Al had my phone number, and he had my phone number because we had him in studio as a guest a while back, many years ago, actually, and I give all the guests my cell phone number in case they get lost along the way, and I changed my phone number a few weeks back whenever I got my new iPhone 11 Pro, in large part because of him. Liberal Al and a few other people had my cell phone number, and I was getting calls constantly and text messages constantly. And I have a new phone number that only a select few have. And I was listening to the overnight rebroadcast for Friday's show when I told Al that he doesn't have my phone number anymore. He even gave out the first 3 digits of my old number. And he sounded like devastated that he doesn't have my phone number any longer. Well, sorry. Yes, right. But, I'm easy to get a hold of. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. You can always get me there. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. It's Monday. We'll be right back with hour number 2 after this. I'll be right back. I got to go open the door for Steve.
FM and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you to call Debbie at I Will Advisors and have her review your homeowner's insurance policy and save you money on your insurance premium. I'm in studio today with a Steve KANE listener, Don. Don did just that.
I called Debbie. She looked over my homeowner's insurance policy and told me I was paying way too much. She updated my policy. It didn't cost me.
Mike, can you chill out with all the caps? I mean,
Because my insurance premium is part of my monthly mortgage payment.
Thanks, Don, and I'm glad Debbie can save you all that money. You can save money, too. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. Have her review your policy and lower your homeowner's insurance premium. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
This is Steve KANE. When it comes to looking your best, sometimes you need a little extra help. Dr. Nathan.
I know it's the same guy.
I'm not a plastic surgeon here in South Florida who will bring out your most beautiful self. Dr. Nathan, highly skilled, knows how to reveal your inner beauty and make you look your absolute best. He's a board-certified plastic surgeon. People come from miles around just because of his extraordinary skills and his caring bedside manner. Dr. Nathan performs breast breast augmentations, facelifts, Botox, tummy tucks, liposuction, and much, much more. Visit his website. Read the testimonials from his patients. They love Dr. Nathan, and you will too. He has years of experience and impressive credentials that make Dr. Nathan the only plastic surgeon you need visit. He'll advise you and tell you the best course of action so that you will always remain true to who you are. You can contact Dr. Nathan for a no-charge consultation by calling 305 area code 680-5121. That's area code 305-680-5121 or online at drnathan.com. Tell him you heard it on the Steve Kane Show.
Did you know that your skin is your largest organ? Yet, it's probably the most neglected. Living in South Florida means having an annual checkup for skin cancer is vital. We live in the Sunshine State after all, and our skin bears the brunt of the sunshine. It's time to have your annual skin checkup. There's no better doctor to take care of this for you than Dr. Jose Mendez. Dr. Mendez is a board-certified dermatologist, and when it comes to caring for your skin and making sure that it is healthy as possible and skin cancer-free, you want Dr. Mendez as your personal dermatologist. Dr. Mendez is caring
Of
and
course.
very knowledgeable.
You're welcome.
Your annual skin cancer exam is covered by Medicare. Dr. Mendez also takes most other insurances. Steve Kane recently had his annual skin cancer checkup. It was easy breezy. Dr. Mendez examined him from head to toe, took off a few things, and now Steve is good to go. Call Dr. Mendez right now at 954-431-7681. 954-431-7681. When you call, make sure to ask for Sarah. She takes extra good care of Steve Kane listeners and will get you an appointment fast. Early detection of skin cancer can save your life. Call Dr. Mendez right now at 954-431-7681. 954-431-7681. This is your special invitation to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free Living Trust seminar. Be sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. This free Living Trust seminar is Tuesday, January 28th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Courtyard by Marriott in Boca. To attend this free event, call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE, 855-352-3782.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
The Steve Kane Show is live in Morning Drive, 6 till 9 a.m. weekdays, and overnights, midnight till 6 a.m., 7 nights a week. To call the show toll-free, 1-888-GO.
All righty. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. It's 5 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning. Oh, man. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show on the radio since 1977. And of course, we're talking about everything going on with Iran. I'll do a couple of recapping, then we'll bring in some of the new stuff. Your calls are welcome at 1-888-GO-KANE1. You know, I got this Apple Watch. My wife got this for me like 2 years ago off of QVC with the Easy Pay. How many of you really use your Apple? I use it because I can see the time easily when we're on the air, but I don't know. The Apple Watch seems to be a big waste. Anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked on the waste of the Apple Watch. But we're talking about everything going on in Iran, and we've had some very good input from the listening audience today. Let's keep it coming. A lot of opinions, lots of pretty interesting analysis from our callers so far this morning. Hopefully it'll continue. President Trump alerted Congress via Twitter that all future notifications about military action in Iran will be done through his Twitter feed. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. That's as transparent as you can get. I remember when Bill Clinton was running for president the first time, when he was Governor Clinton, and on his stump speech, he says, "When I'm president, there'll be no smoke-filled back rooms." Well, it's hard to keep the rooms filled with smoke when you're using the cigars for things other than smoking, as he was doing, if you remember. But he talked about having transparency. And so did Obama. And when Obama and Clinton became president, there was no transparency whatsoever. President Trump, with his Twitter feed, has transparency that we've never experienced before from any president of the United States. It doesn't get more transparent about what's going on than President Trump's Twitter. So he notifying Congress through Twitter from this point forward, he made the announcement, there is going to be a major meltdown over this starting today. The media is already doing this, but the Democrats are going to have a major meltdown over this starting today. So we're talking about that and much, much more. And, well, let's take some calls. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, Brian. Good morning. You know, I always suspected when Colin Kaepernick started this whole thing, I never thought it was about, he said he was protesting police brutality across the United States. And so when he chimed in, I never thought that. I said, this is something else, but you can't say it in public because, you know, you'll get in trouble. When he recently commented on the assassination in Iran.
No, we're not talking about that. I'm sorry. You can talk about Kaepernick, but we're not talking about that. Well, you know, okay, Kaepernick. What do you think Kaepernick, what do you think his goal is? I know what it is. What do you think, because all people talk about Kaepernick. What do you think Kaepernick's goal is?
Just, he wants to be a martyr at this point.
No, he wants to be relevant. He wants to be relevant. So with he's irrelevant. So Colin Kaepernick, who thinks everything is racism, is going to, anytime there's some issue of controversy going on in the news, he's going to come out and attempt to be relevant, because if he's no longer relevant, he's no longer that's his job now. His job now is a left-wing agitator. And like, you know, these influencers, they call them, and he needs to be relevant. So he jumps on an issue like this to try to make himself relevant. That's all.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. I was just saying it has to do with race. He's not a big fan of people like us, and that's basically what he's saying when he says that's why we're bombing over there.
I don't think, when you say like us, what do you mean? He's not a fan. You think. Hold on a second. Excuse me. All right, you said Kaepernick is not a fan of people like us. What do you mean, Floridians? What do you mean?
Nope.
What kind of people?
Said the same.
No. What do you just say? What you're saying? He's not a fan of people like us. What you mean, white people? Well, his parents are white.
Oh, so what?
Adopted. My daughter's parents. His parents are white. His parents are white.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Colin Kaepernick is a fan of one person and one person only, and that's himself. He's an egomaniac, and he started becoming a race pimp as a desperate attempt to keep an NFL contract. And that failed, and he had a lot of these race-baiting opportunities, and he's jumped on board with that. That's all. All right, appreciate the call. Thanks, Mike. Yes. Mike's a long-time caller of the show. Doesn't call that often anymore. Now, Michael Moore, this morning, it's strange that I did this, but I read this story about Michael Moore, and he sent a message to the Iranian leaders. I'll share the story with you. Michael Moore has a new podcast, and I read this story, and I wanted to hear Michael Moore actually talk about this as opposed to me reading the story. So I actually, this morning when I was doing show prep, I listened to Michael Moore's podcast, and you can too. Go check it out. It's not his most recent episode. He had an emergency podcast episode, and emergency is in the title, and it's only 19 minutes long. Michael Moore, listen to this. This is in Breitbart. Far-left documentary filmmaker Michael Moore has begged the Iranian regime not to respond with violence to the drone strike that killed their top terror chief, Soleimani, promising that he, Michael Moore, and millions of Americans will get rid of President Donald Trump at the ballot box or through impeachment. So, and Michael Moore is a man with a lot of talent, and he really is. I mean, he's had a couple of movies that were pretty good. We can't take that away from him. But, as I was talking with Mike there about Kaepernick, Michael Moore's always trying to be relevant. And I listened to the entire podcast episode. It's like just under 20 minutes long, this particular episode. And you've got to, don't do this now. Do it at 9 when the Glenn Beck show is on, okay? And just take 20 minutes of your life and listen to Michael Moore's podcast episode on this. He does, it's 19 and some odd minutes of him apologizing to Iran for all the terrible things that the United States has done to Iran. It's, you want to talk about the Hate America First crowd. This is a textbook example in the Michael Moore podcast. And I'll tell you about Michael Moore. You know, a lot of these people fighting for relevance like Colin Kaepernick, Michael Moore is a true believer. He really is. He is a true believer. And I'm going to credit Michael Moore. He just started this podcast. It's very new. And it's only been a few weeks old, this podcast. I've never listened to it nor thought I would. I heard about it, but I wasn't interested. But I had to hear this for myself. And he does a 19-minute apology for the United States. He's apologizing for all of us. And he is, well, he's, you know, he wants to be relevant too. But he believes what he says. And it was pretty shocking, actually. And it's amazing to me that as wackadoodle as some of these people are, that they have so much success. Although he doesn't have the success he used to have. You know, I mean, his movies, you know, his movies used to be the talk of the nation, and he's had a whole bunch of movies. He hasn't had a movie, I don't think, since Fahrenheit 9/11 that anyone talked about it. Fahrenheit 9/11 was like, what, in 04? When was Fahrenheit 9/11? I saw Fahrenheit 9/11 in a theater because I had, you know, we were talking about it on the air, so I had to see it. And I was in a theater filled with liberals, and it was not a fun experience. But that was like 15 years ago. He hasn't had a movie that anyone's been interested or talked about in 15 years. So, but his podcast, check it out, Michael Moore, apologizing for America, asking the Iranians to not respond because he and the liberals of this country are going to remove President Trump from the presidency either through an election or impeachment. But you know, this is the week. The Congress is back now. Well, today. Not yet. It's early in the morning. You think these guys get up early in the morning like the rest of you? They don't. They don't. But Congress is back now. So here we are in this situation where Nancy Pelosi, who has not transmitted the articles of impeachment to the Senate, so technically, President Trump has not yet been impeached. He's not impeached until she transmits the articles. They had the vote, but she didn't complete the action. So he's not impeached yet. So what will Nancy Pelosi do? Is because, you know, you've got the media and you've got the Democrats talking about wag the dog. A lot of Democrats are calling President Trump a war criminal for his tweets over the weekend about the 52 targets. Does Nancy Pelosi send out the articles of impeachment today, now that they're coming back to the Senate? You think she'll do that? Has something like this ever happened during a time of major international tension between the United States and another country? I don't think so. Now, Lindsey Graham, listen to this. This is from Fox News. Lindsey Graham insists that if House Speaker, I'm reading from Fox News now, Lindsey Graham insists that if House Speaker Nancy Pelosi does not deliver articles of impeachment against President Trump to the Senate by the end of the week, the Senate should take matters into, quote, our own hands. Lindsey Graham accused Pelosi of playing political games and trying to exert control over the Senate trial by keeping it from starting. Mitch McConnell recognized Friday on the Senate floor that Chambers' rules prevented him from doing anything until Pelosi does her part. But Lindsey Graham proposed a solution that could remove what McConnell has called an impasse in the process. What would I do if she continues to refuse? This is Lindsey Graham talking. What would I do if she continues to refuse to send the articles as required by the Constitution? I would work with Senator McConnell to change the rules of the Senate so we could start the trial without her. When asked how long he would wait, Graham said days, not weeks. So Nancy Pelosi has a decision to make. And that is, does she send the articles of impeachment over and force a trial in the Senate while this conflict is going on with Iran, or does she continue to sit on them? And, you know, how long ago did they have the impeachment vote? It was before Thanksgiving, so it's been over a month now. Over a month. And we were told by Nadler, we were told by Schiff, we were told by Pelosi and all these Democrats that this was something that had to be done now. It had to be done quickly because President Trump is a clear and present danger to the Constitution and da-da-da-da-da. They have the vote, and a month later have not transmitted the articles of impeachment. So what Nancy Pelosi lost that she had on her side was momentum. If she would have transmitted them when the vote was taken and the articles passed in the House, she had momentum on her side, boom, it wouldn't have even really been that controversial. I mean, all of us who said this is ridiculous and a sham and all would still be saying that, but she had urgency on her side. They were declaring urgency, and boom. And now here we are a month later, and she still hasn't done it. So it didn't seem all that urgent, did it? And now for her to do it with this military conflict looming at a very serious level with Iran, she's in a real sticky situation. So what happens? Will she send it this week? What do you guys think? 1-888-GO-KANE 1. 888-465-2631. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. We're going to take a break, come back with some calls, and also I'm going to start to get into the audio sound bites that I have here. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back.
It's Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about Dr. Mitch Vitez at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management. He's my anti-aging doctor. That's right, I have an anti-aging doctor now. This year, I turned 45, and I was starting to slow down a bit. I met with Dr. Vitez, and he found that my testosterone level was low. We men begin losing our testosterone starting at age 30, and it goes down every year after that. Dr. Vitez told me I was approaching the beginning of andropause. That's the male equivalent of menopause. I began bioidentical hormone pellet therapy. They're tiny little pellets inserted under my skin. And now my testosterone levels are being restored to where they were when I was 25 years old. Thanks to Dr. Vitez, I have more energy, I feel better, I look better, my love life, it's better, and my wife, she's thanking Dr. Vitez too. Bioidentical hormone pellet therapy isn't just for men. It works wonders for women by reversing the symptoms of menopause, like the night sweats and the mood swings. Men and women, you don't have to live with the negative effects of aging, like loss of energy, loss of sexual desire, weight gain, or menopause. Call Dr. Vitez and meet with him about bioidentical hormone pellet therapy. It works for me, and it'll work for you too. He's located in Boca.
Oh,
and
man.
His website is hormonetherapybocaraton.com, or give him a call, 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. And tell him Brian Craig sent you.
Many people are suffering with depression, anxiety, addiction, trauma, loneliness, low self-esteem, and problems with intimacy. Day and night, they struggle to make it through. If you're feeling overwhelmed, confused, frustrated, lost, and fear never being able to find satisfaction in your intimate relationships, it's time to be proactive. Call me. Let's talk. I am Dr. Janae Lomaski, a licensed psychologist. You can reach me at 561-777-2021. That's 561-777.
Hey guys, make sure you subscribe if you don't.
Or you can find my number.
Also, does everyone follow me on Instagram and Twitter? Brian Craig Show on Instagram and Twitter.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow. And like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat. I would flip-flop all night long. I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed. It's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry MyPillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever.
For a limited time, go to MyPillow.com, and Mike will give you 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price. And you will also receive free shipping when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, or call 1-800-716-4879 and give them promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and receive 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price. Again, use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com or 1-800-716-4879 for this fantastic offer.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for
All right. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. on the radio since 1977. Welcome back, one and all. I have one thing I want to play from the Golden Globes. I know I'm supposed to have 12 clips of the Golden Globes so we can help promote Hollywood and everything else because everyone's talking about it. I'm not going to do that. I used to be a huge fan of Ricky Gervais until I found out he was an atheist. And I was a big fan of his. He had the original Office, which is spectacular, the UK Office. He had Extras, which was incredible. And then he did the show, the other HBO show with Warwick Davis. Oh, my goodness. And then I found out he was an atheist. And I didn't know he was an atheist. And I don't like atheists. I get really... Atheists creep me out. I'm sorry. You know, I don't mind... other religions. Don't misunderstand me. I know and associate with people that are of many different religions, not just Christians. But atheism is just, I get the hairs on the back. Atheists creep me out. No other religion really creeps me out. I know people that are Muslim. I know people that are, of course, Christian, Jews. You know, I've known people of many different religions, but none of it bothers me. It's America, man. But something about atheist just seems like the devil to me. And when I found, it just does. And when I found out that Ricky Gervais was an atheist, I just didn't, and atheism is a religion of its own. They like to think they're not, but it's really a religion of its own. And I just stopped paying attention to Ricky Gervais after that. Simon Pegg's another guy, very big fan of Simon Pegg. Found out he was an atheist, big turnoff. So, I'm not big into getting into the Golden Globes, especially, if it was a slow news time, I'd probably have the 5 or 10 clips from the Golden Globes and we would talk and laugh, but I only pulled up one because it was both sick and very sad. The clip of Michelle Williams, who was, I remember Michelle Williams, she was on Dawson's Creek, and when I saw her on Dawson's Creek, I never thought she would be like the big standout from that show. She's not good looking. If you go back to the Dawson Creek days, I'm like, what is this? What? And she's a good actress. Don't misunderstand me. Michelle Williams is a pretty good actress. I've seen her in a few things, and she's very good. She played Marilyn Monroe in that My Week with Marilyn. She was spectacular. She's good, very good actress. I'm not taking anything away from her acting, but what she said last night in her acceptance speech for whatever it is she's getting awards for these days, it was pretty sick. So let me just play it. And then we'll talk about it a little bit after we play. So this is Michelle Williams on stage last night.
For the acknowledgement of the choices I've made, and I'm also grateful
Steve KANE Show.
To have lived at a moment in our society where choice exists, because as women and as girls, things can happen to our bodies that are not our choice.
Okay, now of course she's moving into the talk of abortion. Things happen within our body that are not our choice. What she's talking about is a pregnancy. So, and I'll play the rest of it. How does a woman become pregnant when it's not her? And notice she doesn't say pregnancy, baby. She's using, it puts the lotion in the basket kind of terminology because she doesn't want to deal with what is inside the body. How does a woman become pregnant against their choice? Sexual assault, rape, right? Is Michelle Williams a rape victim? I don't know. Maybe you guys know some information about her. I was looking on her Wikipedia. I didn't see anything on her Wikipedia about it. But when she says things happen within our body beyond our choice, to me, that sounds like women are impregnated during rapes. So I don't know if that's what she's talking about or not. All right, let's get back to it.
So grateful to have lived at a moment in our society where choice exists, because as women and as girls, things can happen to our bodies that are not our choice. I've tried my very best to live a life of my own making, and not just a series of events that happened to me, but one that I could stand back and look at and recognize my handwriting all over, sometimes messy and scrawling, sometimes careful and precise, but one that I had carved with my own hand, and I wouldn't have been able to do this without employing a woman's right to choose.
Okay, now, see, then and who's this actress that was crying when she was talking in front? So she said she wouldn't be able to do this. Is this work as an actress and get a Golden Globe if she did not have an abortion? And notice she keeps saying she doesn't say baby, abortion. She uses all this other language because she doesn't want to deal with it, right? You know, is she, two questions so far. She said something happened inside of her body that was beyond her choice. Was she impregnated through a rape? I don't know. 2, is she saying that she wouldn't be able to get a Golden Globe and be a famous, successful actress if she did not have an abortion? So what does this say about liberal Hollywood? Is liberal Hollywood, and my understanding is she's pregnant now. So she's pregnant as she's standing up there championing this past pregnancy. Is she saying that liberal Hollywood discriminates against pregnant women? There's a lot of questions here. People are too busy applauding her to ask these questions.
And writing all over, sometimes messy and scrawling, sometimes careful and precise, but one that I had carved with my own hand, and I wouldn't have been able to do this without employing a woman's right to choose. To choose when to have my children and with whom, when I felt supported and able to balance up.
See that with whom? So someone she had sex with impregnated her that she didn't want to have children with. So did she have the abortion because she became pregnant against her will through a rape, or she just didn't like the guy? I don't know.
To balance our lives, knowing as all mothers know that the scales must and will tip towards our children. Now, I know my choices might look different than yours, but thank God, or whomever you pray to, that we live in a country founded on...
Thank God, or whoever you pray to. Who do people pray to other than God? If you're not, the different religions, we're still praying to God, mostly the same God, right? People that don't pray to God but pray, who is she talking to here? Who are they praying to? Buddha, the sun god? I don't know. A sun god's still a god. Who else would you pray to other than God or a God?
Towards our children. Now, I know my choices might look different than yours, but thank God, or whomever you pray to, that we live in a country founded on the principle that I am free to live by my faith, and you are free to live by yours. So, women, 18 to 118, it's time to vote. Please do your own self-interest. It's what men have been doing for years.
Yeah, so there's a lot of pain there, a lot of questions, none of the questions being asked, so we can't blame her for not answering them. But to me, Michelle Williams seems like someone who's dealing with trauma and is in need of therapy, like with Dr. Janae Lemaski, to come to terms with some things, because she did not sound like, because she uses these words and phrases to say anything other than baby and abortion. She doesn't want to deal with it. And I just want to know, how did she become pregnant against her will? I think it's fair game to ask these questions, since she took to an international stage last night and was talking about it. All right, 1-888-GO-KANE-1 is our number. Let's take a call before we break. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, all right. I'm driving now. I'm going to make this really brief. I'm a huge Trump supporter, and I heard a comment on Fox. I don't know who the reporter was. It was just very fast and quick, and it was, no one's picked up on it. And he said McConnell has the right to make a motion to dismiss everything if he doesn't get those articles soon. Does he really have that?
No, nobody knows. See, nobody knows. No one knows, because we're in a new area that has never been addressed nor conceived of by anyone, and that is, there's an impeachment vote and then the House sits on it. So we are in territory that not only we've never been in before, but no one ever imagined we would be in. So nobody really knows. No one really knows.
Okay, but if he were able to, let's say, put the motion out, and then it was voted, with the Republicans doing all the voting it down, could that hold up, or is this like you're saying that we don't?
No, I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. I mean, what you're talking about is kind of like a law class debate, you know, that Mark Levin could probably talk to Jay Sekulow for months about, but no one knows. No one ever envisioned that there would be an impeachment vote that was not sent to the Senate. So, you know, they could have a motion and vote on anything, but say they have a motion and vote on it, and then the next day Pelosi sends the impeachment over. So, how have they voted on something that wasn't sent to their chamber yet? Nobody knows. We're involved in a coup of the presidency of the United States, and when there's a coup, the coup conspirators who are ignoring elections and making up their own rules, no one knows what's going. Now the question is, will Nancy Pelosi, now with this conflict with Iran, will she send the articles over and force a trial while we're in a military confrontation here going on?
I know, this is frustrating, but I'm driving now.
Okay, well, thank you. All right. 33 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. We are more than halfway through the show now. Oh, man, the day is flying by. The first, full work week. The holiday period is now over, people. No more holidays, no more hangovers, no more parties, no more days off in the middle of the week. Unless you're a liberal and everything. Every day's a day off. We'll take a break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities, I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
Right now, the U.S. is in the midst of a deadly opioid epidemic. In South Florida alone, someone suffers an overdose every 2 hours, either from heroin, fentanyl, or some other prescription medication that's as close as the family medicine cabinet. In fact, Mom and Dad's medicine cabinet is frequently the gateway to the horrors of hardcore addiction down the road. Drug problems left unattended are only going to get worse. This is not something you can do on your own. You need expert professional help, and if your family is disintegrating in front of your eyes and you feel helpless, I'm here to tell you that help is available. Call my good friend Sal at The Edge Recovery, 561 area code 523-4325. This is his personal cell phone, 561-523-4325. If your loved one refuses treatment, The Edge Recovery will conduct an intervention and get them into the treatment plan that they need. The Edge Recovery offers every option, from intervention to 30-day rehab to sober living to counseling with a licensed therapist, as well as group therapy treatment. It's covered by most insurance, but no matter what your situation is, The Edge Recovery has options for you. Call Sal at The Edge Recovery. Do it today. 561 area code 523-4325. Again, that's Sal's personal cell phone, 561-523-4325.
This is your special invitation to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free Living Trust Seminar. Be sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. This free Living Trust Seminar is Tuesday, January 28th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Courtyard by Marriott in Boca. To attend this free event, call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE, 855-352-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, welcome back. And yeah, Attorney Barry Siegel, it's on the 28th, Tuesday the 28th, at the Courtyard by Marriott, which is just immediately west of I-95 on the north side of Glades Road. And there's actually 2 workshops that day. The second workshop at 2 p.m. is the Revocable Living Trust workshop. The first one is at 10 a.m., which is the Medicaid planning workshop. And you can come to those seminars and meet Steve KANE and me, Brian Craig. Steve and I will be there. But Barry does ask that you make reservations. Simply, he needs to know how many tables and chairs and what size room. And so it's important just to call. It's totally free, just so they know how many people are coming. 855-FLA-ESTATE. Barry's number listed at stevekaneshow.com. 1-855-352-3782. 855-352-3782. And we will see you there. Joe Walsh is running for president of the United States. He's running in the Republican primaries against Donald Trump. And, he was on TV over the weekend. Let's play this, talk about it a little bit.
So let me ask you now about Iran, because just moments ago, President Trump tweeted that his social media account will serve as notification to Congress. And this is what he said. These media posts will serve as notification to the United States Congress that should Iran strike any U.S. person or target the United States.
And now slow down here. I was talking about this at the top of the show. President Trump is notifying Congress through Twitter for one reason and one reason only. He doesn't trust Congress to keep military operations secret. And there is nothing wrong. No, it's not Joe Walsh from the Eagles. Is Joe Walsh from the Eagles still around, by the way? I do not know. If he is, he's an amazing guy because he's abused his body like nobody else in rock and roll, I'm here to tell you. But anyway, no, it's not that Joe Walsh. It's a Republican former congressman. Not the same Joe Walsh. But President Trump notifying through Twitter, this is going to be the big meltdown of today because the media hate Twitter and all social media because it bypasses them. The media, they want to be the middleman between you and your president. And he bypasses the media with Twitter, and they hate it. So the fact that he's telling Congress, your notifications will be here from this point forward, this is something that they're going to have a meltdown about today. But anyway, back to this. Joe Walsh running on the Republican ticket for president of the United States against Donald Trump.
The United States will quickly and fully strike back, and perhaps in a disproportionate manner. Such legal notice is not required but is given nevertheless. So what's your response to that as opposed to asking for, congressional permission?
He's unfit. Look, every American, Frederica, needs to be really scared right now. And the reason they ought to be really scared right now is because of who is in the White House. We have a guy in the White House who doesn't read, he doesn't think, he doesn't understand.
Okay, it goes on and on. Well, here's my Joe Walsh theory. Okay? He doesn't read. I know he doesn't read. Please. He doesn't have time to sit around and read books. I remember Brian Lamb from C-SPAN was given a tour of the Oval Office by President Clinton while President Clinton was president. And I'm sure you can find this on C-SPAN's website or on YouTube. President Clinton had about half a dozen books scattered around the Oval Office that he was reading. Who has time to read when you're running the free world? Okay, so no, he doesn't read all that much. He doesn't have time, Joe Walsh. But you know what I was thinking about Joe Walsh? Because he's a lunatic. But everyone's attacking Joe Walsh since this interview yesterday. I think Joe Walsh is out there helping Trump. I really think Joe Walsh is out there helping Trump. And the question is, does he know it? Does he know it? Because he is putting up a primary run for the nomination against President Trump. And this is what I mean by this. There's only one problem we have going into the presidential election. And it starts at the primary level. And that is voter turnout. Are we so confident that Trump 2020 landslide, there's a hashtag, Trump 2020 landslide. It's been a hashtag for a long time. Are we overconfident, and will that depress voter turnout? And what Joe Walsh does is give Republicans a reason to go out during the primary and vote for President Trump because we want to show large support in the primary. Joe Walsh doesn't have a prayer. Even if our voting turnout is depressed during the primary, Joe Walsh doesn't have a prayer. But there are a lot of people who will hear Joe Walsh, who's going to be all over television from this point forward because he's a Republican bashing Trump and he's running against him. So the mainstream media are going to want to have Joe Walsh all over television. So Joe Walsh is actually helping with the Trump primary get out the vote. It's hard to get people motivated to vote when you only have one candidate. And do we really want one candidate? I mean, that's what they do in Cuba, right? They have elections, but they have one candidate, right? So, yeah, I think Joe Walsh is out there to help Trump more than hurt Trump. That's just my view. I know a lot of people play that clip and attack Joe Walsh. He seems like a clown, but he is helping us. I want to play a couple other things here, though, before we take our next break. A couple other audio sound bites. Let me see here. This one here is a quickie. My least favorite person on television is Chris Wallace, without question. I mean, I just can't stand Chris Wallace. Arrogant guy. But number two, my second least favorite person on the news is Chuck Todd. I cannot stand Chuck Todd. And what gets me about Chuck Todd is how arrogant he is. I talk to you a lot of times how he thinks Chuck Todd thinks he's asking the question that America would like to be asked, and he feels the pulse of the American people, and he's asking the big important questions. And really his interviews are like Oprah. What's your favorite color? If you could be an animal, what animal would that be and why? I mean, his questions are, it's kind of like the guy on the Actors Studio. If you get to heaven, what would you say? All those, just these meaningless questions. But he thinks they're the big important questions, and he leans in when he asks these questions. And then after he asks it, he leans back in his seat and has this little smug perk on his lips because he's impressed with himself of the wisdom of his brilliant question, waiting for the person he's interviewing to answer to his brilliance. It's so bizarre. He has such a personality defect, and I just can't stand this guy. I didn't like him before he was on Meet the Press. And Chuck Todd, don't worry, I'll get to the Chris Wallace thing. Saving the best for last. But Chuck Todd had Jay Johnson on, who was the Homeland Secretary for Barack Obama. And he just assumed because he worked for Obama and he's a Democrat that he's going to be a big Trump hater and disagree with everything Trump does. And he didn't run by Jay Johnson his question. So he asked a question of Jay Johnson and Chuck Todd, and he leans back in the chair. He gets that little smug perk of his lips. He's impressed. And Johnson did not give him the answer he was expecting. And the look on his face is not a soundbiteable moment, but the look on his face was like, what's going on here? What's going on? So let me play this. This is Jay Johnson, Obama's Homeland Secretary, with Chuck Todd on Meet the Press yesterday.
Jay, before you were Homeland Security Secretary, you were counselor at the Defense Department. So explain for viewers, why does Mike Pompeo keep saying terrorists? There is a legal reason. Okay, now, just let me give you a little background on this. This was a very short-lived yesterday talking point of the mainstream media and the Trump-hating left. Pompeo keeps calling General Soleimani a terrorist, and what they're trying to say is he's calling him a terrorist because if he's a terrorist, legally, President Trump doesn't need permission of Congress to do anything. So Chuck Todd, who's hung up in believing their own propaganda, thinks there's a legal reason Pompeo keeps calling him a terrorist, and he just assumes that Jay Johnson's going to agree with him, having worked for Obama and all. Before you were Homeland Security Secretary, you were counselor at the Defense Department. So explain for viewers, why does Mike Pompeo keep saying terrorists? There is a legal reason he keeps saying the word terrorist, isn't it?
That too, Jeff.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
If you believe everything that our government is saying about General Soleimani, he was a lawful military objective.
Uh-oh, Chuck Todd.
Under his constitutional authority as commander-in-chief, had ample domestic legal authority to take him out.
I like that. And Chuck Todd, when he says that, he says, okay, he didn't know what to say to that. Sorry, got in the middle of your talking point. they convince themselves of all of these motivations. Yeah, in your personal life, have you ever had a situation where you feel someone screwed you over, somebody at work or something, and you sit around and you try to figure out, why are they screwing me over? And you come up with all these reasons and ideas and what their motivations are. And one thing I've learned in life is when you try to guess what someone's motivations are and why people do anything, you're always wrong. You're always wrong. And they've convinced themselves, they're saying terrorists because legally under the article this of that, you don't have to, get permission from Congress. Oh my gosh, didn't go the way you thought. And when that show was over, I promise you, Chuck Todd, who's pissed off because I heard that Meet the Press Daily has been canceled. It's a 5-day-a-week show on MSNBC, Meet the Press, that's going away. He's just going to focus his work on the Sunday show now. So he's not in a good mood. I promise you, when that show went over, he went at some producer on that show and said, why did you not run this answer by Jay Johnson before? You made me look stupid. I asked a question and he didn't give the answer that I was expecting. I promise you. Someone may have gotten fired over that, for all we know. But I'll tell you, in the control room, there must have been a lot of panicked people back there because he looked like a fool. And you know what? Chuck Todd felt like a fool. You heard when he said, okay. Listen to the okay again. You can hear that's when he's like, oh, gosh.
Jay, before you were Homeland Security Secretary, you were counselor at the Defense Department. So explain for viewers, why does Mike Pompeo keep saying terrorist? There is a legal reason he keeps saying the word terrorist, isn't it?
No, not necessarily.
Okay. But the best moment on the Sunday show was the humiliation dealt to Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace was humiliated on his own air, on his own show. I'll play that for you after the break, all right? My name's Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve KANE Radio Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right. We'll take a break and be back. Don't go anywhere.
Did you know that your skin is your largest organ? Yet, it's probably the most neglected. Living in South Florida means having an annual checkup for skin cancer is vital. We live in the Sunshine State after all, and our skin bears the brunt of the sunshine. It's time to have your annual skin checkup. There's no better doctor.
Did you guys
to
hear
take
this
care
one?
of
It's the
for you
best.
than Dr. Jose Mendez. Dr. Mendez is a board-certified
I wasn't teasing. It's just I'm already late for the break, so I was going to do them back to back.
Possible and skin cancer free. You want Dr. Mendez as your personal dermatologist. Dr. Mendez is caring and very knowledgeable. Your annual skin cancer exam is covered by Medicare. Dr. Mendez also takes most other insurances. Steve KANE recently had his annual skin cancer checkup. It was easy breezy. Dr. Mendez examined him from head to toe, took off a few things, and now Steve is good to go.
Be right back, guys.
Dr. Mendez right now at 954-431-7681. 954-431-7681. When you call, make sure to ask for Sarah. She takes extra good care of Steve KANE listeners and will get you an appointment fast. Early detection of skin cancer can save your life. Call Dr. Mendez right now at 954-431-7681. 954-431-7681.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the
Good morning again, everyone. Make sure you subscribe if you don't.
coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you
It's Alexa, play WWNN Radio. Alexa, play WWNN Radio.
A pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware that as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Sole Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Attention seniors, have you protected you and your family from financial ruin? You are invited to Attorney Barry Siegel's free Medicaid planning seminar. Learn how to prevent running out of money before you run out of life, being forced to spend down your assets, how to avoid nursing home seizure of your assets, and more. This free Medicaid planning seminar is Tuesday, January 28th at 10 a.m. at the Courtyard by Marriott in Boca. To attend this free event, call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE, 1-855-352-3782. Listen to the Steve Kane.
All right. Welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Welcome back. I was just reading this story about Madonna. Don't worry, I'll get to Chris Wallace in just a second because it won't take us long to talk about Madonna, I promise you. And Madonna's getting a lot of press. Madonna leaves the United States. She is moving to socialist Portugal, she says, to protest Trump. This is not America's finest hour. She moved her family from Manhattan to Portugal to protest Donald Trump, so she says. This is the thing with Madonna. When I was in middle school and high school, I was a big Madonna fan for a while. Well, in middle school and beginning of high school, and then she kind of went. I saw Madonna in concert at the Orange Bowl during the Who's That Girl tour. Waited in the rain for hours. She came out and she was nasty to the audience. She was yelling at the audience and things. She was nasty. But anyway, I didn't even know Madonna moved back to the United States. I thought she still lived in the UK and just visited here on occasion. But Madonna moving to Portugal has nothing to do with President Trump. Madonna is irrelevant today. No one in America cares about Madonna. And what I would do if I were the media and I were researching, because there's a lot of stories on Madonna today, who's completely irrelevant. Find out, because she still produces new music. Find out where Madonna's new music is getting a lot of downloads on iTunes. And I wouldn't be surprised if Portugal is a hotspot for new Madonna music being downloaded. And maybe she feels that maybe Madonna is to Portugal what Jerry Lewis was to France, or David Hasselhoff was to Germany. David Hasselhoff couldn't sell a record in America, but he was a big star in Germany, right? So I'm guessing that Madonna, who is irrelevant here, no one's interested in Madonna, nobody buys her music, that it's probably popular in Portugal. And she's probably over there because of that. That's just a guess. I don't know. All right, so anyway, Chris Wallace. Oh. Chris Wallace is really... I can't stand Chris Wallace. And I'm watching the cable news a little bit more than I normally would because there's a possible war situation going on. And, going to catch the breaking news. So I got the news on. If Chris Wallace comes on, I change the channel. It's just a reflex. Chris Wallace, boom, gone. So this clip I'm playing you, I didn't see it on Fox. I saw it online, and it's a brilliant clip. It's from Chris Wallace's Fox News Sunday. And I don't like Chris Wallace, not because he's a never-Trumper and all that stuff, but like Chuck Todd, he is so full of himself. He is so self-important. And the only reason that Chris Wallace is on TV is because his dad was an incredible broadcast journalist who did some real reporting. And I give you one specific example with Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace, in his early days of television journalism, he did a network show that was before 60 Minutes, and it was in black and white. And he did a story interviewing gay men on camera without their faces being hidden during the days of black and white television before he was on 60 Minutes on national television, because that's basically all you had back then. I mean, I know that doesn't sound like a big deal so what? He interviewed openly gay men whose faces weren't obscured. You're talking about the President Kennedy era. That's a big deal. And Mike Wallace did some stuff, you know, and you got Chris Wallace who's getting through on Daddy's name. And the thing about Chris Wallace is he doesn't know that. He thinks he's some big broadcast journalist. He doesn't understand that he's just getting by on his name. At least I think he doesn't, because he's so pompous. Well, anyway, Chris Wallace had Pompeo on, and this is a quick clip. It is quick. It's only 16 seconds long. And Pompeo got schooled. Or I'm sorry, Chris Wallace got schooled by Pompeo. Pompeo, in this 16-second clip, totally body slams Chris Wallace on his own show. Listen to this.
That some of our enemies, that this president is more vulnerable because of the impeachment act.
You should ask Mr. Soleimani.
Isn't that great? Let me play it again. I know the volume's low, but I can't. Beggars can't be choosers. Let me play it again.
Do you think that, as misguided as it may be, that some of our enemies think that this president is more vulnerable because of the impeachment effort?
You should ask Mr. Soleimani.
And Chris Wallace, it was like that other moment with Jay Johnson and Chuck Todd. The look on his face was like, this was not the answer. Because you know, he sits around Chris Wallace with his circle of Trump haters, right? And they create all these things in their mind about President Trump and everything else going on. And it just never, oh man. Oh. I love Pompeo. He is so awesome. I've never really seen Pompeo, boom, do something like that, but I enjoyed it. We're coming up on the top of the hour, guys. Just a minute till the top of the hour, less than a minute, till the 8 o'clock hour. 1 hour to go. Steve will be joining us. We'll continue on this. I've got some more audio sound bites we'll get to, and we'll continue. I'll do a little recapping after the top of the hour. You know, this weekend, if you follow me on YouTube, which you should, Brian Craig on YouTube, I had 2 encounters with President Trump over the weekend. And, well, I'll tell you a little bit about them after the break, and it was pretty amazing. I had 2 encounters with our great president who was in town at Mar-a-Lago for New Year's over the weekend, and I'll tell you a little bit about him after the break, and we'll get to some of our audio sound bites and much more to get into. Don't you worry. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Steve KANE Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977, our number toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's 8 o'clock. Hour number 3 begins now.
The Money Talk Network is 95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470, WWNN Pompano Beach.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority. At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic.
Make sure you guys all subscribe, and also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Brian Craig Show on Twitter and Instagram. And if you follow me on Instagram, I post up there a lot. You're gonna like if I'm gonna do a quick video, like a super quick one that's not just, you know, that's not going to be at least a few minutes long, I'll go to Instagram Live. So if you follow me on Instagram Live, you can get that. And if you miss it, go to my Instagram stories. Brian Craig Show on Instagram and Brian Craig Show on Twitter.
And one of the preventable measures that is
and make sure you subscribe here, guys.
Wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060. or online at thesouleauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve KANE sent you.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no
Very
extra
good,
charges.
Beverly.
Friendly
Thank
Tire
you.
have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Attention all Berries Vitamins customers. All the vitamins and supplements you know and love are available at Save-A-Lot Nutrition Centers, and the prices are a fraction of what you were paying before. Stop in or call Save-A-Lot.
Yeah, he is a
Save-A-Lot
dummy.
Nutrition Centers is
He is a
located
dummy.
half mile south of Sample Road on the west side of State Road 7 in the Penn Dutch Plaza. Speak with Al. He's the owner. Tell him what supplements you were looking for, and he will be more than happy to get you the supplements you need. Save-A-Lot Nutrition Centers, 754-307-1655. 754-307-1655.
This is your special invitation to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free Living Trust seminar. Be sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. This free Living Trust seminar is Tuesday, January 28th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Courtyard by Marriott in Boca. To attend this free event, call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE, 855-352-3782.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
The Steve Kane Show is live in Morning Drive, 6 till 9 a.m. weekdays, and overnights, midnight till 6 a.m., 7 nights a week. To call the show...
All right, yes. Third hour has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. We're talking about everything going on with President Trump and the Iranians today, and we've touched on a lot. Had some great calls, some great comments, some great questions and commentary from people on the phones this morning. And you all are very much welcome to share your opinions, which I know you have a lot of strong opinions on what's going on with Iran. There's my two favorite stories of today, though, and both involve Trump, of course. I mean, what else? First, him telling Congress that he is going to notify them about future attacks through his Twitter feed, which Real Donald Trump is his Twitter feed, and that's sufficient. You know, these leakers in Congress, which I'm telling you, today there is going to be a media and Democrat meltdown over that one. And, of course, the second one is that he's picked out 52 targets that are going to devastate Iran, and the 52 is representative of the 52 American hostages that were taken in 1979 from our embassy. And I was telling my daughter about this last night. She couldn't believe, that... Do you know why the Iranians were able to overrun our embassy in Tehran? Do you know why? Why were embassies are guarded by Marines? Those Iranians and Iraqis that hit our embassy last week, they didn't get very far because of the Marines. But why were the Iranians, snowflake college students, a lot of them, right? Why were the Iranians able to overrun the embassy in Tehran? Do you know why? I told my daughter about this, and she couldn't believe it. I said, look it up, Google it. It's because the Marines were ordered by the commander-in-chief, Jimmy Carter, to not have bullets in their guns. And they had guns, but they had no bullets. And that sounds like a joke, but it's true. Jimmy Carter was afraid that they knew the embassy. That tells you everything you need to know. They knew the embassy, Jimmy Carter, was going to be overrun, and he let our people sit there and be guarded by Marines without guns. Now, let me tell you this. Going up against a Marine without bullets, and their gun would still kick most of our butts from every which way but Sunday. I mean, I'm not taking on a Marine, even if they don't have bullets. and I'm fully armed and to bear because they'd still. But if you have hundreds and maybe thousands of people overrunning them, what an embarrassment. Okay, so that I know it's total craziness. And with the 52 targets, what President Trump is talking about is he's not talking about a war. He's talking about one strike, a massive strike, that will cease the Iranian government from being a functional government with any type of military or government infrastructure. So it would be a war that would be over with the first blows. What he's talking about. You know, as much as Joe Walsh says Trump doesn't read, I agree with that. He's running the country. You know, you have time to read. Isn't Joe Walsh unemployed? Or is he a radio guy still? I don't know what he's doing, but he's not working full time. Okay, Joe Walsh, because he's no longer in Congress, and I don't think he's on the radio, or he wouldn't be running for president. So I don't know, but. Trump is a student of history, and he knows we won World War II because we bombed Germany out of existence. Okay, the Dresden bombings, et cetera, the nuclear bombings in Japan. So he's talking about a devastating bombing attack that would devastate the government, and they would no longer be a functioning government. That ends a war before it even starts. Now, speaking of the unemployed, you know, there are so many jobs created under President Trump, and there are very few people that are unemployed today. In fact, a case could be made that the only people who are unemployed in America today are people who are choosing to be unemployed. And there is an unemployed person who has chosen to be unemployed, who's actually running for president and speaking out. Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg, I was talking about this on Friday, and I have not seen one news story cover this. He is no longer the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. He is now unemployed, and he's running for president of the United States, and he was on CNN yesterday.
I'm running based on what's possible, a bold policy agenda that would make me the most progressive president we've had in a half century, that we can do in a way that will actually unify and not polarize more of the American people. You know, the things that I am offering up, the things that we've talked about in this campaign.
Now, I'm going to go back and play this over to you again. So here we hear an unemployed man, Pete Buttigieg, who's running for president. And he said he's the only one on stage who's not a millionaire. You know, millionaires and billionaires don't have to work, right? They're financially secure. I'd like to know, how is he paying the bills? Is his husband paying the bills? Is he using campaign funds to pay his bills? I mean, these are legitimate questions. Mayor Pete Buttigieg, you're not a millionaire. You brag about that. You're now unemployed. How do you pay your bills, your mortgage, your student loans you're talking about all the time? Are campaign donors paying for that, or are you living off of your husband? But this is what I want to ask you as listeners. Then we'll go to the phone. Steve's here. I can't ask Mayor Pete these questions because I don't have him here, but I would definitely like to know how he's paying his bills. He's now unemployed, and he's not a millionaire. And he has student loan debt and all these things. He's always bragging about that. But here's my question to you as listeners. I'm going to rewind this and play this. What is Buttigieg saying? He says he's running. What is the specific thing he's running on?
I'm running based on
Steve
what's
KANE
possible,
Show.
a bold policy agenda that
Hey,
would
Jeff,
make me
hold on.
the most progressive president we've had in a half century, that we can do in a way that will actually unify and not polarize more of the American people. You know, the things that I am offering up, the things that we've talked about in this campaign, would be game changers on everything from access to health care, to affordability of college, to the ability to just get ahead in the basic principle that one job ought to be enough in the United States of America.
Well, apparently one job isn't enough for you because you don't have it. You know, if you listen to Pete Buttigieg, who's no longer Mayor Pete, he's former Mayor Pete, ex-Mayor Pete, unemployed Pete, whatever you want to call him, right? One of the few Americans not working under the Trump economy. He says nothing. You know, very vague platitudes. And, you know, he's become completely vacuous. He's basically saying, vote for me, I'm young and gay, right? I'm running on the principle that we can do it. And if you vote for me, we'll do it together. And we'll discuss these issues that and I've got the solutions. Not one specific, vote for me, and I'm going to do this, that, and change that. He says, vote for me, and we can do the impossible. And we'll discuss healthcare, and we'll discuss, you're discussing it now. So, I mean, what a vacuous, empty person. And he has so many people kissing his butt at every campaign appearance. He thinks he's got solutions and talking about very specific ideas. Yet he doesn't realize that he's completely vacuous now. I don't know. I just thought that it's important to point out that he's unemployed. He says he's not wealthy, but he's still managing not to work, pay his bills, and travel the country. And I think people got a right to know, how is he doing this? If it's off campaign funds, that's legitimate. They have these rules. But I think he should let people know that he is living off the campaign funds, if that is the case. Or that his husband is paying the bills. That is, I don't know.
Well, running for president, I don't know whether this is common knowledge or not, but running for president is a job.
No, the other ones have jobs.
They have jobs that they take time off from.
There's senators. There's CEOs. Joe Biden's retired, but he's worth millions of dollars from his corrupt business practices. As a corrupt public official.
During election season, those jobs, those nominal jobs, become secondary to them. And then, of course,
but they're still employed and take a salary for their jobs. Yes. So Mayor Pete likes to go up there, and he did this in the last debate. And I bring this up because they're going to have another one, and they've got the Iowa caucus coming up. Got to say that slowly. He he is not going to win, and I'll tell you how I know this. They're putting a spin in the mainstream media. The mainstream media are behind unemployed Mayor Pete. And I've seen several stories over the weekend about how Jimmy Carter didn't win the Iowa caucus, but he really did because he went on to be the president. So they're setting the stage for him to lose, but he can still be a winner like Jimmy Carter. But in the last debate, Buttigieg had the only standout moment. It's when he pointed out, he says, out of everyone on stage, I'm the only one who's not a millionaire. And he was implying that he's a working man, okay? And, people that run campaigns do draw salaries from campaigns, which I don't think is appropriate to do.
I think a lot of them get rich. I think they drew, when you look at Cortez and her gang over there, they turned into money. A lot of people, a lot of candidates
No, you're right. Well, they do it, but that's not right. The people should, have, now here's the question. He had a moment where the crowd laughed at the other presidential candidates when he says, I'm the only one that's not a millionaire, because they're all talking about socialist ideology and they're all millionaires except him. If you don't hear one person ask him how he pays his bills now that he's unemployed, the mainstream media are trying to pick him ahead of all these other candidates. I'm telling you, the media have chosen unemployed Pete to be the nominee. Let's take some calls and then we'll break. Steve's here. Let's talk to Jeff. Jeff, you're on the radio.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Brian and Steve. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Hey, the Democrats have absolutely nothing they're standing on other than to remove Donald Trump. Donald Trump said it best when he said, talking to us, they're coming after you and our rights, and I'm just in their way.
Yeah, that's true.
This is true.
They cannot be specific about anything. The only thing they're unified on is removing Donald Trump as president.
Yeah. See, I think that the media, I know the media are becoming Iranian state television now, and the Democrats are. I think the media and the Democrats both want a war with Iran, and you can tell by the way they're talking. They're thinking they're going to add the attacks on Iran to the impeachment.
Oh, absolutely.
So so the media, the left-wing media and the Democrats both are, well, I would say praying, but they're godless people. But if they were to pray, they'd be praying for a war to happen because of Trump. They want it. Don't buy their peacenik line that they're coming forward with on television, because they think, oh, now we can get him. That's why Nancy Pelosi's talking about a war powers resolution.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yep. See, Surrey even agrees.
Holly from Missouri, he said that the Senate is the court.
Yeah.
The House is the prosecutor.
Yes.
The analogy of court systems, of the court, told the prosecutor, bring your charges. If you don't, I'm going to dismiss them. He's saying, let us bring this to vote right now and dismiss.
Yeah.
Will not bring them to submit those impeachment papers.
Correct. Yeah.
Which I think it is, speaking in court terms. Why doesn't the Senate just bring it to the floor to vote for this?
Well, because I was talking earlier, okay? You know, these types of discussions, I think we should leave to Mark Levin because he likes to turn his show into legal theory discussions to put people to sleep, and which is in the evening, so maybe there's a case for that. But
if they go the route this court
yeah.
is suggesting,
Yeah.
There is no question it would tie that they talk about tying things up in the court. That would be
No, they're not talking about going to court. They're talking about the Senate's the court, and they can dismiss it without the problem.
You don't think that would be challenged in the regular court?
Yeah, the Supreme Court immediately.
Yes, exactly.
Here's the thing, Jeff. As I was talking to a caller about this earlier in the last hour. Someone called with the very same thing. So was Steve Hilton or someone on Fox talking about this? Because you're the second call I've gotten with the same thing. Did you see this on? Yeah. So I told you. Okay, they were talking about it on Fox. That's okay. I just two calls, about the same thing. I just figure. What I told the last caller, I'll tell you. We're in an area we've never been in before, right? The Democrats, when they say, oh, the Constitution and the Federalist Papers and the founders and all these things that they despise are all of a sudden their documents and voices of credibility. The founders never envisioned that the House of Representatives would pass impeachment and not send it to the Senate. So everything that's being talked about, like you brought up, is all new territory that's never been addressed in the United States. So the answer to your question is all these legal scholars can sit around and have verbal masturbation sessions about it. Nobody knows because it's never happened before. So if the Senate did that, the Democrats would never recognize it. What would happen would be this. If McConnell did that today, tomorrow, right after the vote, Nancy would then transmit the articles of impeachment and say they got it. It's there now. Now he's impeached. Now you got. We're in a new area, so no one knows the answer. Immediately, same day. They'd probably do it the same day, if not the next day, because it involves the President of the United States. They would do it immediately.
Do it. We got a conservative-leaning Supreme Court now.
I don't know. All right, but I appreciate the call, Jeff. All right, take care. All right, let's take our break. Steve's here. We've got some more audio, some more stuff to talk about. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you looking to sell your house or buy your dream home? Then call LaBella Real Estate.
Nothing.
Real Estate
Today we have nothing.
President Trump, and like Donald Trump, LaBella Real Estate want to get you the highest dollar amount when selling your home. And when looking for a new home, LaBella Real Estate will find you the best deal. LaBella Real Estate have over 20 years of experience in real estate and mortgages, and they are very knowledgeable about the South Florida real estate market. If it's a condo, single-family home, a luxury home, LaBella Real Estate can help. Buying or selling, call LaBella Real Estate at 561-445-7023. 561-445-7023. And online, LaBellaRealEstateLLC.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mitchell Matez, and I'm here to tell you about my current work at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management. Today, it seems like everyone and his grandmother is practicing hormone replacement, in many cases without the proper experience or training. Be you male or female, if you have lost your desire for sex, feel sluggish and run down, and are having difficulty controlling your weight, you are suffering just a few of the symptoms of the aging process. At the Boca Raton Center for Age Management, we specialize in hormone replacement therapy. Our experience with age management is unparalleled in South Florida. In 2005, we revolutionized hormone therapy by introducing implantable hormone pellets, which can balance your hormones for up to 6 months at a time. For more information on how hormone therapy can help you, go to hormonetherapybocaraton.com or speak to Stephanie at 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. $70. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Listen to the Steve
Back.
Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
Oh, we're back, Steve. We're back. We're back.
Yes.
We're back.
Oh, yes, we are back.
Oh, boy, I tell you. So, Trump's really sending the message.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting to see how long this is going to last. What is your guess on this?
What do you mean?
Until the impeachment is...
Well, I don't know what she's going to... Today, they're all back. Congress is back. It's first day back for the year, so she's... The pressure's on.
So stab at exactly what would transpire between, you know...
I don't think she's going to send it.
Okay, and her... She's just going to never
She's not-
send it?
Well, not anytime soon. She's going to let it sit there. She's already moving on with this war powers resolution.
What do you think her motivation is?
Well, now there's a war situation, so she's afraid. I know. What do you think?
Afraid of...
Well, back impeaching a president during a military conflict.
Yeah, I got a good point. Well, okay, you think it's finally dawned on her that she's not going to win this, you think?
She's going to have to send it eventually.
Why?
Well, what is she going to do? She's just going to sit there for the next year?
I guess. It seems obvious to me that she doesn't want to send it because she knows, well, I mean, she knows what everybody knows, that he's going to be acquitted. And that means that after all is said and done, with all the back and forth, and the bottom line, it's a negative thing for her because she lost.
Yeah.
So she's putting off the inevitable pain of the execution.
I don't know if her people will be satisfied with that now. She was talking last week about adding articles to the impeachment, articles that they've already passed.
Yeah, but so you take that seriously?
So she's just going to let it sit there forever, and then when they lose Congress, they lose the House, it'll be gone.
I heard one, I forget if it was a guest or a host, but it was a great line. They said, Nancy Pelosi's situation now is like a soldier who somebody runs up to them and hands them a hand grenade on which the pin has already been pulled.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there holding the hand grenade, you know.
Yeah.
What does she do? She
Yeah.
lets go, she gets blown up. If she doesn't let go, which
Yeah.
she's going to let go eventually.
It's catch-22.
She's in trouble.
It's a catch-22. No matter what she does, she's screwed.
The proverbial rock and the hard place.
Yeah. Now there's no winning for her.
Yeah.
But there's an expectation for her people to do something.
I don't know. It's interesting.
You know.
Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1, KANE, K-A-N-E. And if you want to shake the football out of your eyes, and assuming you were watching, this is the worst year I ever had.
But gambling-wise?
Well, all my bets are made for the end of the year, and I didn't pick anybody right.
No, well, it's a
Tom Brady.
first time in a while. You've done good the last few years,
Yeah.
so you're still ahead of if you.
Oh, yes.
So I wouldn't.
I'm not used to this feeling of losing.
Well, there's a way to always win, and that's not to bet in the first place. I don't.
Sounds like something my mother would say.
Well, that's why I don't gamble. I don't gamble. That's
of
me.
my mother.
No, not because of your mother. I just don't gamble. I'm not into it to the gambling. But that's a solution. If you can enjoy it without putting money on it, which I don't think you can.
Depends on the game.
Yeah.
I watched a couple this weekend.
You must have been mistaken then. I've never known you to watch a football game you didn't have money on.
It's an unusual occurrence, I must say.
I couldn't believe.
The betting is not as much fun when you lose.
Did you hear that? Well, I know
I'll give you that.
I know you're gambling too much because Friday and today, the first thing you started talking about was gambling and betting. So I know you're gambling too much. You talked about it first thing when you got in on Friday, first thing today on Monday.
Well, it's the playoffs. It's
That's why.
times.
That's why you're gambling too much.
Playoffs playoffs without Tom Brady are just not the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to get in for me when there's stuff going on that's going on now in the world. It's hard to get involved in anything that's unimportant, like football and movies and things like that. I mean, what's going on right now. I mean, what Trump did over the weekend by talking about the 52 targets in Iran representing the 52 American hostages. I mean, that's crazy.
Why do you think? The one thing that interested me the most, his move that interested me the most, was adding the cultural sites. That we're going to take out 48.
No, I didn't say cultural site. He said both. He says including. He said 52 targets, including cultural sites, not solely cultural sites.
But he obviously, cultural sites stands out from the others. I mean, why do you think he added that?
Probably so that to trigger these liberals that are out there defending Iran against any type of response to military. Because if you listen to Elizabeth Warren and AOC, they're defending Iran. They're defending them. They're saying that they shouldn't be bombed. They're calling the president a war criminal.
So he wanted
To trigger the liberals.
Okay.
Yeah, to trigger the liberals. Yeah. It worked. They're calling him a war criminal. They're talking. Yeah.
And evidently there is something in the law that says that cultural sites under certain situations are...
He's not going to bomb civilian sites. Cultural is a matter of perspective. Cultural could be... not necessarily. It depends on who you are. I mean, to you and me, it might be a museum. To them, it might be a refinery or a nuclear reactor. It might be, well, to their culture. Well, it might be a yeah. And you know what? Also, it could be the thing he said. It could be a misinformation to get them to move assets to places to try out of. You know what I mean?
I think the ingenious thing of what's at the root of what he's doing is he's putting people on notice.
Yeah.
He's putting the decision makers on notice that the bomb could end up in their lap.
Yeah.
As opposed to, some boat being blown up in the streets.
Well, he could be talking about the government buildings. Could be that could be cultural to them because it's a religious state.
Yes.
So anything that's government related is cultural since it's a religious state. It's a theocracy.
That's why this guy was such a great target, because he let the movers and shakers know that they're not above or beneath.
He could, yeah.
The bomb
Yeah.
at them.
Yeah. Well, when he says cultural, Trump is not going to bomb civilians. It's just not going to happen. That doesn't mean there might not be collateral damage.
What the car looked like after
Steve KANE show.
with the damage
I did not. I didn't see it. Was there still was a car left?
Twisted, you would not know it was a car. I mean, it was twisted, a twisted metal wreck.
Yeah.
And I just can imagine the major people, the decision makers, the mullahs or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Imagining what it would be like for such a bomb to fall in their car.
Well, this guy, here he is organizing this attack on the embassy, and he's like 2 miles away, walking around Baghdad like he owns the place. I mean, the arrogance. I mean, he felt so confident that we would not respond.
And that's all because of our dear friends in the Democratic Party.
That's right.
Who, in previous administrations, have led him to believe that Americans are weak and they can get by with all this with no confidence.
That's right.
No consequences.
Well, on the line we have Janet Cimarelli from Save a Lot Nutrition Center, Steve.
Janet, my dear, how are you?
Well, my dear Steve and Brian, I am great, and I'm here with news that your listeners can use. It can be overwhelming to come into the store and Save a Lot, and you need some guidance. So here are some tips for the Save a Lot shoppers. Carry Naturally. That's a brand that you need to remember the name. Carry Naturally. And I'm talking this morning about OPC Extra Strength. What's OPC Extra Strength? It is grapeseed extract. And what does it do? It protects your cells. It helps to balance your blood sugar. It is an antioxidant. It is superior for your circulation. So Carry Naturally, OPC Extra Strength, protect yourself. Coast?
You know, I was trying to get something this weekend. I was down in my end of town, so I couldn't get up to. Are you open on Sundays, by the way?
No.
No, unfortunately, it is Monday through Saturday.
But there's something that's very hard to find, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm going to be getting it today because I know you carry it. My DMSO.
Right. Oh, and DMSO will relieve pain.
Yes,
and
it does.
It is so good at reducing inflammation.
It is unbelievable. A lot of people don't know about it. And you walk into almost anywhere and ask for it, and they look at you like you're from Mars or something. But it's very, very effective, and it is available. I just mentioned that because there are so many things that are cutting edge that are not really available everywhere that they do carry at Save-A-Lot. Tell them how to get to Save-A-Lot and when you're going to be there.
Okay, I will be at Save-A-Lot tomorrow from 12 to 5, and if you're on 441, just south of Sample Road on the west side, turn right on the right just south of...
Yeah, right next to the gym is where Save-A-Lot is, and don't forget. This blew my mind because I went in there. Steve and I were in Save-A-Lot on Thursday and replenishing our supplements. And Save-A-Lot is offering 15% off their already discounted prices. So it's amazing. Yeah.
Anyway, good talking to you, my dear, and we will speak tomorrow, all right? Okay, you take care, and we'll be back right after this. From excruciating back pain or sciatica, pay careful attention to what I'm about to tell you. According to a study in the medical journal Spine, back surgeries to alleviate back pain frequently backfire, leaving the patient in more pain than before they had the surgery. A second study from the University of Cincinnati College of Medicine provides clear evidence that 74% of surgeries for back pain fail. But there is an end to your suffering. There's a solution to your problem waiting for you with Dr. Troy Lemaski. Dr. Troy Lemaski is my personal chiropractor, and if the name sounds familiar, it should. He's the brother of Dr. Janae Lemaski. Dr. Troy specializes in the elimination of back pain, sciatica, joint pain. He does it quickly, easily, and without surgery or pain medication. While he can help you with your back and neck pain, Dr. Troy also provides treatment for the hips, the shoulders, the knees. If you've been in a car accident, any type of injury or slip and fall, the pain won't go away. Well, you want to get back to your old self, you want to call Dr. Troy. His number is 954-463-3036. That's 954-463-3036. Online at drtroylemaski.com. Tell him that Steve KANE sent you.
This is your special invitation to attend Attorney Barry Siegel's free Living Trust seminar. Be sure you and your family are properly protected, even if you already have a trust. Learn how to avoid losing an inheritance to predators, like divorcing spouses, lawsuits, creditors, government agencies, and the IRS. This free Living Trust seminar is Tuesday, January 28th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Courtyard by Marriott in Boca. To attend this free event, call 1-855-FLA-ESTATE, 855-352-3782.
Listen to the Steve KANE Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
Oh, man, I tell you. Oh, by the way, Dr. Troy Lemaski, Dr. Lemaski's brother, she takes care of your emotions, your mind, your mental health. He takes care of your joint pain and back and everything. Yeah, Dr. Troy Lemaski's office is located in Fort Lauderdale on Oakland Park Boulevard, just east of US 1 Federal Highway. So it's pretty convenient to get there from pretty much anywhere. From Boca, I get there about 20 minutes right down Federal Highway. Pretty quick shot down there.
If you don't have a chiropractor in your life, you need one.
Well, I would say even if you have one, you should go to Dr. Troy Lemaski because he is spectacular. In fact, he's been in practice for a long, long time. He just opened up a brand new office location. He was in another location nearby, brand new office, and it's all beautiful and all the modern techniques and everything going on over there. But this a clown. Joe Kennedy III is in Congress. And I tell you, these people are so out of their mind as far as reality.
Is he the one that keeps getting arrested for drunk driving? one male candidate that has a little problem.
Well, they all got problems with something. So, yeah, they all got vices. Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, but he's always getting stopped by cops.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Well, Joe, you know, all Kennedys should probably be stopped by cops for something. I mean, how many of them have had straight lives of, you know, not doing anything?
You know, Brian, you're so heartless. Look what they've been through.
What?
Being raised in that opulent,
Wealth.
well,
Yeah, not a worry in the world.
disgustingly spoiled.
Getting by on a name. Well, anyway, Joe Kennedy III was talking about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and said something that's just stupid.
It is certainly, I think it's certainly worth putting that out there and worth trying to make sure that there is not any sort of profit that is going to be earned by close relatives being in office. And
Okay, so he's got, you know, I know the volume's low on that. I apologize, guys. But Joe Kennedy III, so he's in Congress because he's a congressman with a, not because his name is Joe Kennedy III.
No,
Nothing to do, just no family connections. He's just the best guy for the job. No one, yeah, come on. You know, jeez.
That is embarrassing.
He should be embarrassed. Is Joe Kennedy III Ted Kennedy's kid?
Oh, don't get me into the Kennedy lineage. I get very confused.
Yeah, I know. They're all talking about these days how John F. Kennedy Jr. he would be the opponent for Trump if he had not died 23 years ago. They just don't get it. That's the best they can do? Is a guy that died in 1997? No.
None of them get it. And I love the way I love the way Trump plays this crazy card. You know, he's got the most saying, oh, but he's unstable and unfit and all that kind of stuff. What makes one of the things, certainly not the major thing, but one of the major things that makes the president effective is the fact that he is unpredictable. You don't know if he's bluffing. You don't know if he's serious. And when those thoughts start going through your head that you may be at the, in the bullseye of the next bomb run, you think twice before you provoke him. I mean, they still haven't committed any act of aggression against us since the good general passed.
Well, there was no. Well, they're probably in chaos.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure that eventually somebody's going to do something.
Yeah.
You'd have to think.
It depends on if they believe Trump. I would think that.
Well, you got to understand, there are people on their side crazy enough that they can believe Trump and not care. You know, you're dealing with people who are homicidal and suicidal.
Well, Trump did something they never expected. He had a meaningful response.
Everything he does is unexpected because that's what makes him effective. They don't. There's unpredictability.
Yeah. No, him killing the general is the first meaningful response we've ever had to anything Iran has done, I think ever. I don't think we've ever really responded to anything they've done to us in a serious way.
My mind is searching.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm sure there must be.
This is just nuts. I get it. No. Oh, gosh. No. I can't tell you on the. I have to tell you after the show. It's total chaos going on here behind the scenes. You'll find out in 20 minutes.
Is it good or bad?
No, it's a disaster. You and I have a disaster on it. We have a disaster on. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Make me sorry I get out of bed this morning.
Well, you'd have to deal with it at some point. You can't just stay in bed all day and not deal with things.
KANE 1. We look forward to your calls as we get ready to dive back into the pool of action.
Yeah.
With this impeachment.
Okay, it's such a disaster. I can hardly get through the rest of the show. I'm kind of aggravated by this. It's kind of aggravating. I'm sorry, Steve. I'm sorry. I'm getting messages from people, and it's just chaotic. It's chaotic.
Any idea how distracting that is when you...
Well, how do you think it is for me?
Well,
I'm getting messages for somebody about something. It's distracting for me, too.
Can you tell me...
I'll tell you during the break. I'll have to go out in the hallway because we got the live stream going.
Time for the break yet?
No, we have to sit here and suffer for about 4 or 5 more minutes and try to get through the next. I wish people wouldn't text us while we're on the air about things like programming wise. Because when something's going on, that's kind of like an urgency and you're on the air, you can't do anything.
Oh, it drives me crazy, and you do that all the time.
I didn't do this. Somebody did this to us. Somebody did this to us.
I didn't know anything about it until you.
Well, I still got to get through it, Well, I'm very distracted by something that's going on off the air right now, and we can't do anything about. And you know what? It's just aggravating. It's just aggravating. I'll tell you during the break, but it's we can be both aggravated together. I know. What do you want me to do, Steve? If somebody's messaging me about something that's distracting, you want to live in denial.
You asked a question.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask
I should suffer alone.
You should suffer alone. That's what.
Why shouldn't you suffer with me? Why shouldn't you suffer with me?
Why do you think you paid that exorbitant
Oh yeah,
salary?
right. So I can do the suffering for you.
You can absorb some of the stuff that.
Oh, I'm absorbing it. I'm suffering, just not alone. People should not contact us with things that are not programming related during the hours of the show. If it's because it can be difficult when your mind's on something. It's hard to focus on the on-air content. You know what I mean? When you got something.
Probably something you're just building up out of nowhere.
No, it's a problem. But and I know people in the audience are wondering what it is. I can't tell you, and you'll never know because we'll never be able to tell you. But there's some.
I'll know.
You'll know. I'll know. Yeah, and we'll take care of some things. But to the listening audience, you will never know what is. No, what's distracting us? It's just aggravating. I'll tell you during the break in the hallway. You want to take the break early so I can tell you?
Let's take the break early so we can focus in on the show, folks. We'll
Yeah.
be back right after this.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about
come out in the hall
dental
'cause of
care.
the-
I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities, I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
This is Steve Kane. When it comes to looking your best, sometimes you need a little extra help. Dr. Nathan at the Nathan Clinic is a renowned plastic surgeon here in South Florida who will bring out your most beautiful self. Dr. Nathan, highly skilled, knows how to reveal your inner beauty and make you look your absolute best. He's a board-certified plastic surgeon. People come from miles around just because of his extraordinary skills and his caring bedside manner. Dr. Nathan performs breast augmentations, facelifts, Botox, tummy tucks, liposuction, and much, much more. Visit his website. Read the testimonials from his patients. They love Dr. Nathan, and you will too. He has years of experience and impressive credentials that make Dr. Nathan the only plastic surgeon you need to visit. He'll advise you and tell you the best course of action.
It's a disaster.
So that you will always remain true to who you are.
She's got to figure it
You
out.
can contact
Hey there,
Dr.
hold on.
Nathan for a no-charge consultation by calling 305 area code 680-5121.
Youngerman's on the line.
That's area code 305-680-5121 or online at drnathan.com. Tell him you heard it on the Steve Kane Show. For the best wings in this town, it's Wings Plus. Wings that are first grilled and then fried to make them extra crispy, served with blue cheese and celery. Try the Jamaican jerk, the lemon pepper wings, the honey mustard wings, the garlic wings, and 15 other varieties. That's Wings Plus, located at 9880 Sample Road in Coral Springs, with a politically elite meat.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
I had lunch twice last week at Wings Plus. Those unbelievable wings are so spectacular, crispy and wonderful. And,
oh man, they are. You got me actually. I've been eating at Wings Plus longer than they've been advertised on the program, and you turned me on to those lemon pepper. Oh my god, they're the best. Oh man.
Anyway, it is that time that everybody waits for on the Steve Kane Show each morning at this time, the Gold Report, brought to you by William Youngerman of William Youngerman Inc. William, when it comes to the gold markets of this world, there is no expert greater than William Youngerman. We're so fortunate to have him each and every day here. Because I know most of you through the years. William's been with us for what is it? No. He's been
with us for like 50
advising his clients on the precious metals for over 50 years, and he's been here on the Steve Kane Show as a guest in the morning program every day for the last 13 years, and he knows his stuff, and that's why everybody tunes in at this time to see how their investments are doing. William, what's it looking like today?
Steve, it's looking very strong again today after almost $75 rally in the precious metals over the last 3 days. Gold up again today, about $20.
Whoa.
Friday, we saw the markets close out at $1,552.30. That was up $23.60, while silver closed up 2 cents at $18.01 the ounce. Platinum was up $2 on Friday, closing out the week at $980, and palladium was up $26, closing out the week at $1,967. This morning, and all the saber rattling going on over the weekend has caused a great deal of fear. Gold hitting a 7-year high overnight of $1,588 on spot gold. Geopolitical, negative bond yield, shaky stock markets, and a host of other reasons. Gold is poised to go much higher at this particular time. The fear factor in this market rally is going to make it a little bit shaky going forward as things begin to level out, and that could cause a big pullback. But yeah, long-term gold is still going higher, and for the short term, we're looking at some major rallies. Right now, gold up $19.70. At $1,572. As I said, overnight we hit $1,588 the ounce, a 7-year high. Silver up 29 cents right now at $18.30 the ounce. Overnight we got up to $18.57 so far. Platinum unchanged at $980 right now. And palladium hitting $2,000 now at up $33. So the markets are very bullish right now. A lot of concerns in the marketplace as to what's going on in these very serious geopolitical tensions that we're seeing. And that's pretty much where we're opening this trading week, Steve.
Well, you know, the markets, the stock market has kind of mirrored in terms of direction. It's kind of mirrored the precious metals markets. They've both been very, very bullish. As things proceed, will they continue to either go up together or go down together, or is there a scenario where people go out of the gold, which is high priced, and go into the palladium? How is that played out?
Right now, the markets are telling you that the nervousness and concerns of these kind of what we're seeing is causing the stock markets of the world to come down right now, and the flight to gold is in store here because it's the fear metal that people run to when other things are falling apart around them, and that has been the basis for gold for over 5,000 years. It's the only real money. All the other factors that come into play with money that is just printed by different countries and stuff seem to come into question, especially when the geopolitical situations cause negative stock markets and money has to go somewhere. And right now you've got very few things to look at, especially when you've got almost negative yields for bond yields right now, a stock market that's at an all-time record high, and people are looking for some place for some security and safety for their currency. That's where they go to, and that's what we're seeing playing out right now.
Well, it's all very exciting, and you, of course, up there at William Youngerman Inc., you not only sell gold, you buy it as well. Tell the folks how that works.
Absolutely. For over 50 years, we made a good, strong two-way market in all of the precious metals, regardless of form. And so whether you've got old jewelry that you're not wearing anymore, or anything broken, or something that you just want to trade in for cash, or maybe trade in for a more tradable form of gold, you can bring it in and we'll take care of it, pay you cash on the spot. And as far as the precious metals are concerned, we have everything in stock for immediate delivery.
All right, there you have it. William Youngerman, located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. That's the Bank of America building. You'll find William on the first floor, directly across from the bank. You can reach him by phone at 1-800-327-5010. And then, of course, that wonderful website he has, which I suggest everybody visit, WilliamYoungerman.com. William, good talking to you, and we'll speak again tomorrow.
Have a great day.
All right, thank you. William Youngerman, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's, you're looking for a safe place to hide while the market is in flux.
Yeah.
Gold, the place to
Yeah, absolutely. You know, did you hear that clip I played earlier with Chris Wallace getting just body slammed by Pompeo?
Yes.
I got to play that one. This is like the best. This is the best. I mean, well, you know, and Chris Wallace is pompous. You know, he's a jerk. He's full of himself. Yeah, I mean, I just love this. Trump always picks the best at everything. Steve Kane Show.
As misguided as it may be, that some of our enemies think that this president is more vulnerable because of the impeachment effort?
You should ask Mr. Soleimani.
Yeah, I mean, that's Mr. Sullivan. I mean, that was just, you know, I know. I mean, and Chris Wallace, the look on Chris Wallace's face is like, you know, I got it.
No comeback.
I got an email over the people should call you on the air, not off the air. I don't know who's calling.
Take the next one.
That's why I had to change my phone. I got an email over the weekend about Al the John, who happens to be on hold. And they pointed out something. We got to have a discussion with him about this because Al the John, we have talked to Al the John about this. His name's Al. He is a John. I got confused. We talked to Al the John about this a long time ago. We haven't reminded him. He's got this habit. He likes to call in the last moments of the show to kind of get the last word.
Well, he does it on purpose.
Yeah, well,
he figures if he can filibuster for the last few minutes.
He's done his media spin.
Exactly, and we
yeah.
don't have time to challenge him, of course. We always take that into consideration.
So,
and leave time.
Yeah, so Al, I just put you on, and I had forgotten that we had told you that, because I really don't think about you, except the times when you're on the air here. And we did tell you that. So this will be the last time you were put on the air after 8:30 in the morning. You got to call in earlier. This gimmick you have from the school of how to spread propaganda on talk radio of calling in at the last couple minutes is not going to fly.
We're coming into Al's time here. Al, what do you think of the destruction of your friend, the murderer, the general that Trump took out with the push of a button? Poof.
Most significant move against Iran in 40 years. So you're not going to get a disagreement on that.
What did you show? So
it's a good thing.
Did the right thing. Oh my God! Even now that John is waking up. Oh, wow! This is incredible.
Several members of the Trump train realize that Trump is a cancer on the presidency. 57% polls want him out of office.
Well, that's convenient because coming up this year, there's a national election.
We're going to take that poll with the voters.
Yeah.
For real. And you know what's going to happen the day after the election? You're going to be sitting with your thumb up your butt like you did last time.
There'll be 10 less Republican senators because of Trump. Thank you, President Trump.
Okay. So what about, this is an amazing thing. Under President Trump's economy, Mayor Pete has managed to become unemployed. How did that happen? Why is Mayor Pete unemployed now? He's no longer mayor. He has no job. You know, like here in South, we have a lot of mayors down here, and all the mayors have like regular jobs. Like mayor is like kind of like a part-time thing, but Mayor Pete has no other job. So What? How did
You
he?
think it has anything to do with the problems he had with the black police officer?
That's right.
He was a racist bastard.
I think he's going to run for the Senate in 2022.
Well, but he's out.
So
But
you're already conceding that he's out for the presidency this week.
he's out of work.
In the top four.
Yeah, but what about South Bend? Why did he not run for mayor again? Was he afraid in the middle of his campaign that he would lose an election?
Well, you can't. If you're running for mayor and you're running for president at the same time, you're not going to.
No, that's not true. Many people run for president and run for their congressional seat at the same time. This happens all the time. In fact, I think we had Lieberman did that. Joe Lieberman was running for vice president and his Senate seat at the same time when he was running with Al Gore.
Yeah, well, he had made a commitment to becoming the president.
And those are federal offices. So why has Mayor Pete decided to be unemployed is what I'm asking you. If we only talked about Democrats...
Two of all your candidates.
Yeah. I mean, someone's going to get the nomination by default, but you all of them are losers. Who's going to beat Trump? Who's going to beat Trump?
Trump's block.
Bernie? Bernie's going to win 40 states. Well, you're in the state of denial. I don't know how many electoral votes you get from that state, but yes.
I'm a resident of Washington, D.C. I still have a vote in Florida because I'm also registered to vote in Florida.
So you're wait, this is interesting. So you are registered to vote in a state that you're not a resident of? You can't do that. You can't do that. If you're a resident of
Which one do you vote in?
You are a resident of D.C., but you vote in Florida? I don't know if that's legal.
I don't think people in D.C. vote.
They do vote. They do vote. Yeah, they vote for delegates. They vote in city elections. They vote in the...
They don't vote for president.
They vote in the primary. They vote in the primary. Yeah. You have to be a resident to vote. Hello? Hello? No, you said you're a resident of D.C.
What did you think of Ricky Gervais last night on the Emmys?
Don't have cable anymore? Yeah. Yeah. He was cooking. He was a cook in Vietnam at the front line. Okay? So are you attacking a man's military service? Oh, yeah.
On that note, always want to end the show with a call from Al, Liberal Al. We thank you for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., same time, same place. On behalf of Brian, I'm Steve. God bless America.
All right, guys. See you later. Make sure you subscribe.